Hello, everyone. It's us again. Yes, this is episode 41, and we're here again, as we always are. And welcome, Delboy, again. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. And we'll get on with it straight away. By heck, we will. So, I'll say, as I normally do, what has there been watching this week?
Yeah, a little bit more than normal because a lot of films that I missed at the end of last year, you that are on streaming services, um, and so I started to watch a few films, and the ones that I watched that were digitally. I mean, I quite actually fancy watching on physical media if they ever come out. The
Yeah.
trouble that you've got with streaming is that you never really know. Depends. It's like if it's on Apple, you got probably fat chance, and if it's on Netflix, you probably
Yeah.
got fat chance, but you might have a chance with some of the others. So I watched Juror number 2. I really like that. But I sent you a couple, didn't I? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that you might enjoy some. Now, I
Yeah.
mentioned one
Yeah.
last week that I saw on Sky that I bought cheap on Blu-ray, which was
Yeah.
Slingshot.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
But of course, I'm going to let you talk about these films because,
Well, you talk about them as well. What you
well,
think?
I
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, I'd rather you have something to say about them because I've got some
Okay.
other things here that
Yeah.
I can sort of talk about.
Okay.
And then there were, so I won't mention the others that I sent, but David Lynch obviously died. I
Yeah.
think it was actually on the day that we broadcast last week.
Yes. Yeah.
So I did a small homage to him in my blog, knowing that he can be a bit Marmite, but I think that's a bit wrong,
Yeah.
pigeonholing him like that, because whenever somebody mentions David Lynch, they think weird, but there's nothing weird about
No.
Elephant Man. Elephant Man
No.
is a poignant film, a film about um, how, as a human race, we can be absolutely despicable about stuff that really is bad to our eyes. It's if somebody
Mm.
is disfigured, if somebody is ugly, whatever it is, we show the worst in ourselves. But it also shows the strife of John Merrick.
Yeah. Actually, it's a
Um,
good snapshot of Victorian Britain, really. There's a
yeah,
lot about the Victorian era in there, which I think is quite interesting.
but
About
I think what it goes to show is that what we learn about Victorian England is that it was a boom period. Queen Victoria was huge behind science. She set up the
that's
Crystal
right.
Palace, didn't
Yeah.
she? I mean,
Yeah.
there's all these fairs that they had where you could show off
Yeah.
things like inside toilets and stuff like that,
Yeah.
stuff that we're using even now. So it just goes to show what a boon period it was,
They had
and
that
why
Crystal
we don't
Palace
do
thing.
some of
Yeah.
that sort of like now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not intelligent enough to know. Why can't you just take 1 pence from it, all of us,
Yeah.
twice a year, once on a January, once on
Yeah.
July, everybody in the country has to give 1 pence. That would set up, you could probably build a bloody castle with that,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and
Mhm.
have a dedicated thing for science and all that sort of stuff that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
self-sufficient by people visiting it and seeing all the new technology that's coming out.
Yeah.
I think about that for the national health and all of that, but I'm not intelligent enough to know, hey, that would work, all of that sort of stuff. I don't believe it probably would. There's probably a lot of
I think,
legislation that makes you
yeah.
think you can't.
If you have the will to do these things, it is possible, but you always feel we don't have enough will to do them all. It seems like a good idea, but we wouldn't carry on with it. We'd just sit there saying, "Oh yeah, it's a great idea," but
Well,
to
if
actually
if if
practically
if
do
in
it,
if in if in 5 hours you could have a broadcast system for children in need and get 38 million or something, then I just
yeah,
don't get the problem that you can't
yeah,
get an MRI machine for a hospital.
yeah,
You see what I mean? It's
exactly.
like,
Yeah, it could be done. I don't see any problem. Yeah.
This is where I get baffled a little bit. But anyway, Elephant Man is one that I've got. Well, I've got 2 steel books, and I just can't find the other one. Promised it a long time ago to someone, and I've got, but it's all in boxes and cages back here.
Yeah, it's all right.
And I geared up to watch Blue Velvet, but I just didn't get round to watching that. But that is another favourite of mine. I know that you're going to talk about a couple of David Lynch's.
I should have watched Blue Velvet. I've only seen once, actually.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I should watch it again. I know all that sticks in my mind is the performance from Dennis Hopper with the mask. And
well, there's that, and there's the weird dance. He does these weird gestures like this.
I need to possibly watch that again, I think.
But again, I think there's a lot of hidden stuff that you've got to watch. I mean, a lot of people will say that the reason Twin Peaks was such a great show. Obviously, I saw it as a film, and then a show, and then another spin-off from that. As much as it's weird, there's hidden things that are psychological that are going on. They were all talking about it on Radio 5 this week, saying that the little man represents this, the little dwarf, the little man, and he pops up his head above the settee in a room as you walk in, watching our hero or something walk through. And that means something. That little popping up of the head is a psychological thing, and apparently it's a scene that a lot of people have watched and gone, "Oh, I know that scared me to death as a kid," and they were all discussing it about what it actually means. So there's that. It's sort of like a reverse Police Squad, because Police Squad is slapstick, but it's how to fill your senses with jokes in as much in as small a space as possible, which is why you've got line drawings on the floor, people hanging off of the ceiling, walk pasts with all of these things going on in the background while you're watching them talk about and doing a joke as normal. It's a ton of stuff, and it's a senses thing. You have to watch it several times to go, I missed that. Look, there's hieroglyphics on the floor. Look, there's a all of this sort of stuff. There's a couple of people doing the can in the background, and you just missed it. You know what I mean?
I remember at the time it was discussed a lot as well, and this would have been pre-internet times, and it was quite a phenomenon. It got, in the media of that time, people were talking about it. Which is a good thing at that time. I mean, now, we got the internet, but then they didn't have the internet. So
that's right. And like I say, the internet can be a sort of like a double-edged sword, because it can destroy as quick as it can actually create. This is where I've been saying in my blog, I've been trying to be more proactive and less negative.
I'll be positive about things.
Obviously, if there's something that I am passionate about, say it was a Marvel film or something. I'm not. So this is just an example. Something that I've read the story of, and then I've watched the film adaptation of it, and it doesn't meet what I read 20 years ago. Then of course I'm going to come across as going negative. But what I won't do is be negative before I've even seen it. I want to see it before I slam it down. Because we're condemning something like Alien Romulus did before. I hope it doesn't suck. It's going to be shit. All of this before it even had a shout out of coming out, and it's all because of its IP. It's ridiculous.
Actually, an interesting example at the moment is the werewolf film, isn't it? It's not had a very good reaction from what I've seen, but I'm looking forward to it. I want to see it. Definitely want to see it. Don't put me off.
I think Nosferatu fared a lot better, but I think that's probably because I think a lot of people probably don't know too much about Nosferatu, because it was a black and white silent film.
Yeah, I suspect that a lot of people, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I can understand it, is will probably think the original Nosferatu is pretty boring.
Yeah. Well, it's
They
black
will.
and
They'll
white,
watch it.
Simon.
They'll see it's
There,
slow.
there is obviously a remake, but what I'm trying to say is most people will not have probably have watched the first one because it's a
Yeah,
1920s
yeah,
silent thing and won't even know what the story is because they'll go, "How am I supposed to know what the story
yeah.
is
You're right.
when it's
They-
silent?"
That's
You know,
it.
I'm
They've
just
got
seeing,
no
I'm just
idea.
seeing, I'm just seeing shadows go across the wall and things like that. You know,
Yeah, they won't appreciate it in that way that we perhaps do.
yeah. Well, you see, we as people that buy physical media and probably go
Yeah,
to the pictures a bit more. I'm not trying to slam
yeah,
normal people because that's not the
yeah,
intention. What they probably don't realize that back then there wasn't hour and a half films. When you brought out Nosferatu, it was not only the way it was shot, but it was also the fact that there's very few examples of seeing a 3 reel film. It was one reel, 20 minutes. That's it.
yeah, yeah,
So they were 10-minute shorts like Man in the Moon, with that
yeah.
shot of the moon with the rocket in its eye.
And I
It
think
was
also
about 10 minutes long, like
people forget that films weren't Hollywood, were they? It was a lot of German and French influence in films and the
well,
European.
Hal
Yeah,
Roach set up his
yeah,
own studio
yeah,
in California and basically got money because he'd spent his own money on the real estate to make the films. It's
yeah,
why Laurel and Hardy never saw any money because
yeah,
they only
yeah,
got paid a jobbing wage.
yeah,
Charlie Chaplin went from that jobbing wage to earning millions because he built his own studio.
yeah.
He spent there's a film that he created called City Lights, I think. It's got an opening sequence where he gets out of a taxi as a blind woman with flowers,
Mm,
and he couldn't quite get the opening right. So he spent, this is the truth, one
yeah,
whole year doing retakes. He sacked the actress, got another actress in, sacked her, got the original one back in, only to find out that the thing that was missing was the reaction of the blind girl of him getting out the taxi and shutting the door.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's a famous story, that.
yeah.
But anyway, these are the things that you go, wow. And yet he must have hemorrhaged money for the whole of that. I think he did something like, I think it was like 900 takes.
Oh, wow, yeah.
900
I
takes
know.
on
Oh,
film.
wow. I know.
And if you know anything about film, once it's been recorded on, you don't record back over the top. You have to get another reel of film out, and
Yeah.
this stuff has to be processed, and it's absolute fortune. But anyway, so the stuff that there's only we're still in this early period of January, really, even though we're really at the end now, where stuff is now starting to come out, but there's not that there.
Yeah.
So these are getting pre-orders. Look, The Gift has turned up. Sam Raimi's The Gift from Arrow, so that's quite a nice box set. That's not the biggest of things, but so that's great. A steel book of Smile 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's got quite a nice cover, that
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Bit
I
menacing, that
think
guy,
it's
isn't
better than first film.
it?
I
Yeah.
really liked it, and I loved the first film. I think it's great.
I
Have
went
you
to the
seen it?
charity store,
Yeah.
and I got these two for £2 each.
Yeah.
One I've got because I realized that of my original set, one of the discs is broken. It kept skipping.
Mm.
And the other one I've seen only on telly and didn't even know it was out. And that's this one. This is The Hollow Crown.
Oh.
which is look. If you look on it, it's got Ben Whishaw, Jeremy Irons. It's all about Henry V,
Oh,
Richard II.
Agincourt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a follow-up to this, which is The Roses.
By you've gone the Roses, lad.
Yeah. So you can see
Lancastrians and Yorkies.
It's 3 discs, 4 productions, because I think Henry, which is it? Henry IV is parts 1 and 2. That's it.
Yeah. Henry IV.
But £2. £2.
Oh, a steal.
And then this one is to replace a disc, and I really should upgrade this to Blu-ray, but I'm not prepared to pay 50 or 60 quid. And I'm quite happy with my DVD set, and that is £2. The World at War.
Oh yeah,
it's the ultimate restored edition. The one I had is the one that came out before this, which was 10 discs.
Yeah,
this one's the 11 disc restored edition.
What
£2 just to replace one disc, but it is out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It did come out and then network went bust, and then Gold Leaf or whatever it is brought out a version of it, and it's then another 20 quid on top of the original bloody price.
Yeah.
I do know that the Blu-ray is absolutely astonishing as a picture quality upgrade.
Yeah.
Because it's all done with film, remember?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It is, yeah.
All of the news excerpts were all done with film back then anyway. You didn't take video cameras onto the bloody warfield, did you? I mean, Jesus Christ.
No.
Everybody, I think, knows how good that is. If you're even remotely into a little bit of, well, we call it modern history, even though it's the 40s. You know, we are talking a long time ago now. We're still not learning the lessons, I think, of the world at this stage. And of course, it's the 80th anniversary of the Holocaust, isn't it?
Yeah.
This week coming.
And also this year, of course, is the anniversary of the end of the war, isn't it?
Yeah. That's right.
So there's a lot going on, the anniversaries this year.
And there was lots I could have bought. There was the whole Inspector Morse. There was 8 volumes in a box set for 3 quid.
Yeah, it's cheap.
I thought my mum would like that, and then I remember my mum doesn't even know how to put a Skybox on, let alone put a disc and change the channel.
You would have to be involved in.
So, and I know the teller's got a USB slot, so it's probably easier for me to put it on a memory stick and stick it in.
Yeah,
than it is for me to teach her how to put a DVD in.
Yeah.
So yeah, those 2 I got today. The other 2, those have turned up this week. I've watched Elephant Man and a couple of films that I mentioned before. Slingshot was last week, but I'm more interested to know your opinion on them. The only one that you didn't see that I have is Jura 2.
Yeah,
I thought actually I really liked.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, let's see. I watched. What you sent me. I watched Slingshot, which you did put a mentioned quite a bit on your blog. It's a good film, really. I mean, what can I say about it? It's an enjoyable film.
It's not fantastic, is it? This is what I'm trying to say. It's not a fantastic film. It's one of those ones where you go, what's this all about? Oh, space. Oh, there's a slingshot going around. Oh, and then when you watch it, you go, oh, it's not about that at all. It's about
I liked the idea. I thought the idea was quite actually a good point in many ways, believable. The hallucinations.
Yeah,
I think that is really believable. I could imagine something like that. It wasn't as if it was sort of in the realms of possibility. So even though it's sci-fi and you expect that kind of thing, that seemed quite believable to me, and I thought it added a lot to this. It was so well done. I'd just I'd recommend it to anybody who
And like I say, it was
enjoys it, sci-fi.
it's a Sky production that they brought
Yeah,
out at the cinema.
yeah.
And there are a couple of those. There's that milkshake one that had Karen Gillian or from Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
She was in a sort of like a sort of a super spy hidden behind a library type thing.
yeah.
And that was quite good.
Mm,
That was a semi-broadcast where you could watch it at Sky or go to the cinema to watch,
yeah.
and I enjoyed that. But anyway, I'm going to let you carry on.
Let's see. Yeah. It's when you said carry on. That was another one that you sent to me. And I thought was excellent. It was a kind of a thriller that just kept you on the edge of your seat, and I thought it was well done. And the threat, would he be able to stop this major catastrophe that would happen? I thought it's terrorism and all that kind of stuff, but it was so well done. It really kept me going. And then the other, I always enjoy films that are like The Order, which you sent me, which was about the white separatist, racist American thing. So, and it said it was based on a true story. It was.
Well, I sent that to you because you asked me a question, didn't you? Saying films that have changed because of social aspects.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
so I purposely chose that one and sent it to
you. I thought it was very good the way it brought how they were. They set up these white racist communities, because in America it's very much where they like to develop like their own sort of areas, and it was quite obvious. You see a Nazi flag there and everything, but I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It brought out quite a lot. And I watched a film as well called, I think it's probably from a streaming site, which was The Man in the White Van, which obviously I think with the title you think, yeah, horror. And it was horror, but I thought it was really good. It was about this boy who keeps seeing this white van, and there happens to be murders going on because the person who's doing the killings is in the white van. I mean, everybody knows
it's not the old woman in the van.
No, it's a slasher. But I thought it was really good because it was showing this lad who kept seeing this van, and he was starting to put two and two together as these murders were going on. And I thought it was really good. I enjoyed that. And then I think as I was talking to Delboy just before this, was talking about David Lynch, because David Lynch died this week. Well, it was last week, wasn't it? I think about a week ago.
I think as I mentioned, I think it was like this time last week. It was during our broadcast. I'm pretty sure someone came in and said R.I.P. David Lynch.
So what I did is, it's predictable of me, but I watched Dune 1984 again because it's one of my all-time favorite films. And the more I watched that film, you could see his genius in that film. It's just a shame a lot of people kind of, I think, dismiss it. It's got a bad rap from critics, and people totally misunderstand that film, and that's why they go on about the new. To me, I prefer this to the new Dune by a mile. This has got so much style.
I think I've mentioned a few things. Do you remember I did a review of Electric Dreams?
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
And the girl that's in that, she had just come off the set, I think, of June.
Yeah.
And she said, "It's amazing." She said, "Last week I was a queen of the whole universe. Now I'm
Yeah.
a now I'm the girlfriend upstairs who's a cello player who's got a nerd living downstairs with computers."
um, I think, and also I think he does the characters well. I think he, people might think like the Baron's a bit more of a pantomime kind of villain in this, but I kind of like it. I think it adds to the film so much. The whole style, the new film, the new Dune. It may look good visually. I can't complain about it, but I still don't think it has the same style as the old Dune, and it's just I just love it so much. And what else can I say about it? I absolutely loved it. Watching it again, and I can just go on. I won't go on any more about it. And then what else can I? Yeah, I always have my music section.
Oh,
Sorry.
did
Just
you
before I
say
go,
didn't I was going to say, didn't you say that you watched Twin Peaks?
no, I didn't watch Twin Peaks. No, I
Oh,
was just
okay.
talking about it. Yeah, sorry. There was a film that I've reviewed, which it'll be on Saturday. It'll come up on the channel. And
Don't tell me Tony sent it you.
no, but this I really enjoyed. This is Jonah.
Oh, that's a comic book.
It was a comic book DC character, and it was a flop. It didn't get very good reviews.
It was a terrible flop, yeah.
But I loved it. It's got Josh Brolin, John Malkovich, and Megan Fox. Great.
I think it shares a lot of similarities in the way it was shot to Van Helsing.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. I like the concept. Obviously I'm not a comic book person, but I could see obviously that it was the comic book traits were there. I think in the story, but I thought it was really good. I've never heard of it or seen it before, and I just loved it, and I was quite shocked at how much people didn't like it.
And you said you weren't going to watch any more comic book adaptations. I'm done with that. You said,
yeah, I know, but well, there you are. You see, it was. I enjoyed it. I'll admit it. And it was. I like the idea of a Western superhero. Set in the Wild West. I mean, that's a great idea. It's a great concept. So even though previous weeks I'd slagged off superheroes,
I mentioned Van Helsing just purely on the basis of the way it was shot. Yeah. The thing I remember about Jonah Hex was there's a train sequence.
Yes. Yeah.
And the way it's shot reminds me of the shots that were done in the bell tower with Quasimodo at the beginning of Van Helsing. It's all those, I'm on the ground looking up, then it zooms in and he's up there and all of this sort of stuff. It's very much a style is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it has its own style, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's got that comic book feel, probably because of the angles and the cameras use.
Yeah. And I also think that it has like the super villain idea. It's got this villain who's got this weapon that is going to do it. It's got all those characteristics which you would get in a comic. But I just thought I couldn't understand. I was looking back at all the bad reviews it got, because they were hoping it was going to take off and that they might be able to do some more films with this character. But of course, it just bombed badly, and that was it. But I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. It surprised me. I thought, well, why not take a chance on it? I didn't read anything about it. And then, of course, when I came to review it, I was shocked to find how much people didn't like it, Yeah. I loved it. But, that was really good.
Sorry, did I interrupt you and say, is that a Tony film that was sent to you?
Yeah. You've got to cue you in that every week. Yeah. Cue that.
It was a Tony film.
Yeah, he's got good taste, the Tony.
Bastard.
Films. I've never heard of that, but it was good. Yeah.
Well, you've never heard of Tony sending you a film? He sent you bloody loads, you miserable git. You know he has.
it proves though that we should never take notice of critics. There can be a guide, but to me, I couldn't believe how wrong the critics were. I mean, to me, it was just an enjoyable film, and it's not, obviously it's not a masterpiece or anything, but it's a good
it's not
film.
going to win
It's
Oscars,
enjoyable.
is it? I mean,
Yeah, it's enjoyable. It's better than some films that get all this praise and are all, I don't know, arty farty sometimes. Yeah.
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 You got to have the special effects of Star Wars and have the main character being transgender and all that sort of stuff to win an Oscar
The
these
crap
days, isn't it?
stuff. Yeah. I'm just, yeah. And I always do your favorite bit, which is some music. And you know how much I talk about this.
You're taking the piss. Go on.
TV program. This is a whistle test, and this is a great. I picked this up on eBay, and it was about, I think it's about £3 or £4. Look at this, all these discs, absolutely wonderful. The artists on here, I mean, just incredible. And one of the discs is live performances. So you've got these were actually done on the program. You've got like John Lennon, you've got Alice Cooper, you've got Simple Minds, you've got Magazine, Altered Images, Tom Waits, Sad Cafe, Joan Armatrading, she was always on, Ralph McTell, Robert Wyatt, all these great names, Ramones as well, famously as well. They were all on this, and I thought it was an absolute bargain. I'd love to get more of these. I think they did release more, but it's really good.
I just need to say something. If you ever wanted proof where Santa goes after Christmas with those glasses that he's just put on, which are just the same glasses of all the Christmas cards I've ever had, a big fat bloke with beard and glasses, you now know the truth.
The proof
that this is being broadcast from the North Pole. He's just had his boiler fixed.
Thank you.
But he's living well, waiting for December to come
really
round again.
Yes, all that.
He's even got the toy line for next year, look, up on the wall, ready for the girls and boys.
And the letters have just started to come in. The letters are coming in for Christmas. I've got to start getting them together and get the toy makers going. Got to get them making the toys. What's going to be in this year? I don't know. Yeah. You've got to know what's going to be in. Anyhow. I think now we should get on with the comments. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the first comment, and we have got Jamie, Mugman Movies. Good evening, Mother Trumpers. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, he starts this live stream, and I do start the Trump, I tell you.
Yeah, we don't want to mention him.
We don't want to mention him either. Yeah.
And Jim Jam Movies and TV. Good evening.
Our friend Jim
Jam. Well done.
Who showed off his latest network releases, I think, just today.
And he's saying, "Where's your heart, Ian?" Well, he's having a rest because it's not quite as cold. My bald head is coping quite well. So
he's got a bloody fire on now. I mentioned in my blog, I read out his comment verbatim in my blog saying, just to let you know, my boiler's fixed. The bloke came in, he looked at your collection, fell in love with it, blah, 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 blah.
And Jamie says, is your eating now working here? You obviously didn't watch Dell's blog, did you? Yes, it is.
Hang on a minute. So that proves he hasn't watched my blog. Oh, wow. There you go. Right.
Because I said it was working, didn't I?
Yeah. I read it out verbatim.
Sorry. Anyhow, it's working and we're all happy here. Yeah. And then James says, I want that Smile 2 Steelbook. but since the first film's steelbook didn't sell out, I'm holding off until it gets a price drop. I think that's referring to your steelbook, isn't it? And then we've got Steve's Gaming. Hello, you buggers. Hope you're well. Yeah, we're all right. Hello, welcome. And
Steve,
then,
you bastard. So I'm sorry. Wrong
Charles,
show.
Charles Duncan says Nosferatu may be bothering, but the images in frightening for 1922. And now, Ian, where's I can't find any continuation on that.
Oh, maybe he was going to.
You can't see any continuation.
No. Not for a while, he says, because he talks about the Elephant Man after that.
Oh, anyway, I'll just carry on then. So, and now, Ian, yeah. So there I am. Right.
I think I know what he means. Nosferatu may be boring. The images are frightening for 1922, even for now.
Oh, yes, Ian. I get it. It's where I read it. Sorry, I'm very good at reading, obviously. Yeah. And Jamie says, I had Fist of Legend, Jet Li, All of Us Strangers, Paul Mescal, Kinds of Kindness, Emma Stone, and The Iron Claw, Zac Efron arrive through my letterbox this week.
Bloody how big's your letterbox, man? Jesus Christ. Right, I've only got standard size letterboxes. I don't have one reinforced steel. Jesus Christ. What's all that about?
He says, I love the original Nosferatu. Yeah.
I think we've all in agreement because you liked it, I liked it, you like it, Nutman likes it.
Yeah. Question: favorite silent movie?
Oh, go on.
I think I don't know the exact names, but I in a way I'm kind of stealing what you're gonna say. But you probably know is Laurel anything by Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
I
sort of encapsulate the silent films and the early talkies with comedy. Everything seemed to be comedy.
Yeah.
But it's not that way because if you think about it, there was the original Ben-Hur. And you've got Metropolis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Metropolis. Yeah.
You know, Nosferatu, like we said. And you got the start of the Universal horrors in the 1930s, very early 1930s, so we've only just got into the talkies when Dracula and Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein and all of that came out. But we're talking silent. And I mean, I have to encapsulate Laurel and Hardy myself, and I've mentioned for years and years and years that the Music Box is my favorite.
Yeah,
Laurel and Hardy short.
Yes, yeah.
But I mean, that's not to put away that Nosferatu isn't just a killer, and so is Ben-Hur. I mean, Christ. The same director that did the silent one did the follow up with Charles, with I forgot Charles. Well, you know who's in it, Ben-Hur, and Omega Man and that.
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston, yeah. So, I mean, he directed both films, both won Oscars. Sometimes people have a difficulty with knowing which one's the better one. And yet the first one was silent.
Yeah. I've got Metropolis. I think Metropolis is a work of genius.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really, I mean, the images and that film, fantastic. So I will put that as my favorite silent movie, I think.
You
Metropolis.
said Lauren and Hardy was, you
Yeah,
lying,
well, I did,
cheating
but
bastard.
I thought I'm being kind because I thought you'd pick Laurel and Hardy, and that's why I picked it. But
Oh, let's see what I mean. He tries to take the thunder
I
away
thought
from me. Oh, look, I'm going to say all
I
this
knew.
stuff.
Being naughty, but yeah, yeah, I'll say Metropolis for a non-Laurel and Hardy film.
Yeah. This doesn't take away from the fact that when we talk about the comedies, there was things like the Keystone Cops, there was Harold Lloyd,
Oh yeah, there's all that stuff. Yeah,
they were all great. I grew up probably watching Laurel and Hardy and Harold Lloyd more than anything, because Harold Lloyd had BBC Two showed these silents that were shown again in the 70s in America at a TV show called The World of Harold Lloyd. And I think when we got back in from school in the 80s, Harold Lloyd would be on at 6 o'clock. You either watched the news or you turned it over to BBC Two and you watched a half-hour short of Harold Lloyd. I even know the tune now. I can hear it in my head. Hooray for Harold Lloyd, and all this sort of stuff,
Yeah.
And it's amazing how we sat and watched a silent film, as kiddies, because I think it was probably because we grew up also with Looney Tunes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And unless Mel Blanc was doing one of his famous voices all the way through it, Roadrunner and all of that was mostly silent. It was all just noise like meet me.
Yeah, that's right.
Otherwise it was, oh, look, I've got an Acme rocket. Oh, I'm going to set it here, look. And you see him all prepare it. And then it all goes wrong. And there would be not a word said. And that's pretty much Harold Lloyd, the early Laurel and Hardys, all of that.
Yeah.
It's the art of telling a story without saying a word.
Yeah.
There you are. Well, I hope we've answered that for Jamie.
Yeah. And then Steve's Gaming, Muckman movies, pretty much anything by Buster Keaton. For me, he was awesome.
Such a sad end to such a comic genius, really.
Yeah.
Dan Laurel famously gave him money at the end of his career.
Oh.
Before he died through drink.
Yeah. And then Jamie's putting his thumb up. Yeah. He's great, as is Charlie Chaplin. I think Fritz Lang's Metropolis is my favorite silent movie. All right, yeah, I agree on that. Yeah. I'm with Ian on Dune. The original is so much better than the new one. It's a classic. Yeah, brilliant and fantastic. It's good to have some support there because I hear so much about the new Dune.
You only live around about five minutes from each other, bastards. You're all northern gits. All right, I reckon every time he turns around and says he's got a noisy neighbour, it's you.
What can you say?
Have you got a dog? Oh, no. You must be the new neighbour that's just moved in there.
I haven't got a dog, no.
That's an in joke for Steve's channel.
Yeah. And then Jamie says, I need to watch my copy of the silent film Napoleon.
Wow.
It's so long.
I forgot about Napoleon. Yeah.
He said, when he says how long is it? Is it 4 hours or 3 hours?
No, do you know what? I've got it, but I've never watched it. I don't think I've watched it. I think it's one of those like 2.5 hour. It's like
not that
5.
long.
I think it's like back in the day, it was like 5 reels or something.
Yeah.
Because one of the most famous silent films, isn't there, is Phantom of the Opera.
Oh yes, yeah.
And that was a long one as well.
And we've got Andy makes Star Wars. Happy Wednesday, lads. Not gonna lie, I've shed a few tears for rewatching David Lynch's work over last week. Rest in peace, genius. Yeah,
Yeah.
quite right. I agree. Van Helsing is one of the worst films I've ever seen. There you are.
Used as a context to show
Yeah,
a visual aspect that I thought was similar in Jonah Hex,
yeah,
rather than to say whether the film was good or bad or not. When you consider the acting talent that was in it, it's hysterically bad.
yeah,
Sometimes I mean I must admit it's been on telly. This is one of the weird things about it. It's a bit like Waterworld, right?
yeah,
If there's nothing on telly, right, I'll flip through the channels. That might be on, and I'll go, do you know what? I'll watch it
yeah. It's
on
one
it,
of
right?
those.
Knowing how bad it is,
Yeah,
and it's just I know that I could leave the room for 20 minutes, come back, and I'd know exactly what went on because it's that predictable and that
yeah,
crap,
yeah,
really.
yeah,
You don't need to know anything, really.
yeah.
It plods along, but
Does it?
it's got those action sequences that are supposed to make you go ooh, but when you look at them now, they look.
Is it bad CGI as well?
Now it
Yeah,
is. It's back then it would have been and all of this sort of
yeah,
stuff, but it almost looks as bad, right? And this is not to say that the film's bad because you know how much I love this film, right?
yeah.
North by Northwest,
Oh,
right?
right, yeah,
which is which basically you can tell which are the studio bits and which are the bits
oh,
that
yeah.
are
I know what you
right.
mean. Yeah,
You
yeah,
can that when he falls down on the floor
yeah.
and a plane flies overhead, that the
You know,
plane is a
yeah,
blue screen at the
yeah,
top and
yeah,
the ground was actually in the studio and
yeah,
and then when he gets up suddenly he's back on a dirt track road again. It's
yeah,
like you know, it's because of how color and light is captured on film.
yeah,
You try getting ground that you dug up to look like what it was outside. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's almost like it's almost like the colors are the thing that give it away, right? Because everything looks lifelike in colors
mm,
outside. When you go inside, it looks artificial. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
But that's what I was trying to convey. Not that it's a bad film. It's just,
yeah,
oh my god, the special effects. You can see everything that was CGI and what was live and how it was. I mean, there's all these
yeah,
vampire bats floating about, right? These women that are half, they've got next to no clothes on, with their
mm,
modesty hidden by the fact that they look
yeah.
like Barbie dolls. Um, Floating about, and it's going so fast. They hope that the scenes are so fast you don't notice the seam,
Yeah, yeah,
But I'll tell you, I swear blind, if you don't know that, that when the vampires are grabbing hold of the legs of our heroes and carting them up into the air, that isn't wire work. Well, there's something wrong with you because even I can see that there's a bloody rope round her ankle or something as she's being carted up into the air. So it's like that. But there are
yeah,
some good special effects in it.
yeah,
We're poo-pooing. We're being negative again.
yeah.
I tell you what, there's a lot of people that they've shown that to their kids to keep them quiet, and they've been entertained. And they
Yeah,
probably have now suddenly gone, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing the werewolf. I wouldn't mind seeing
yeah,
Frankenstein. I wouldn't
yeah,
mind seeing
yeah,
Dracula. It probably
exactly. Yeah,
started people watching
yeah,
old pulp horror films.
yeah, which is you can't complain. Apparently Hitchcock always wanted, when you get a driving scene and
Yeah.
it's screen projection, he always did them apparently. That
Yeah.
for some reason he would, no matter what, he could probably have used a real one, but he just
Oh
thought
yeah,
that
the
was
Cary
easier
Grant
to do.
drunk driving down the windy road at the beginning. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
all.
was a
Yeah.
technique that we used. Everybody in used to use that, didn't they? With driving, the way it was.
Yeah.
Right. And Charles Duncan says, Del, the Elephant Man may have been cruel with people back in Victorian times. Nothing's changed. The government picking on elder and disabled people, now blaming them for the state of England. Well, yeah, disabled people always get blamed anyhow.
I think that's a very poignant. I think that's a very poignant thing to say.
Yeah.
What I tried to convey about the Elephant Man was just how brutal the human race can be, because we can be so cruel on things that we don't understand and don't like. The government don't even try and hide it anymore. It's like, don't give a shit. They'll just blame the other political party of making us where we are now, and sort of like sideswipe it over to them as the reason why why they're so negative in the polls at the moment, because they look bad at the moment.
They do. This disabled business doesn't look good at all. I don't know why somebody didn't explain to them that it's going to be very negative, but anyhow,
I swear that I think that they think everybody in England has got a memory like a goldfish bowl.
Yeah.
Right? But what you have to remember is that they can't hide now, Labour and any politician, right? They can't hide anymore. They have what they call Prime Minister's questions on a Wednesday, 12 o'clock, and it's actually recorded. And I remember the Conservatives turning around and saying, look, we're trying to put a rescue package to the NHS to say, please take our offer. And it's you, the Labour, spurring up the trade unions that are making them pick it outside and telling them to reject our offer. Well, why are you then coming back to me and saying, how long does it take for an ambulance to now go and pick up somebody who's just having a heart attack, when you're in the same breath telling them to reject a pay offer that we've given them? And because I think they wanted at the time like 35% or something. The government had given them 15. I think they'd gone even as high as 20. And the Labour were just turning around saying, keep holding back. You'll get what you want. The Conservatives aren't going to be in that much longer when we come in. All of that. All of a sudden, when they came in, a deal was struck. There you go, bang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't even hide that.
No.
Right.
Oh no.
And yet now, when they've got stuff in the media that says that this one person was in the corridor of a hospital for 50 hours, right? You can't turn around and hide and say, oh, it's because of how the Conservatives left the NHS when we came in. They tried to come up with offers, and it was people like Steimer that basically just.
The thing is, the NHS is rarely used as a political football. I think the problems have been going on for years. And I mean, people have always been in the last 20 years or more.
I'm just going to end it on this, Ian, because I just want to make it perfectly clear. I work for the government. Both sides have good and bad points, but they're as bad as each other, right?
Yeah.
I'm not affiliated with Labour. I'm not affiliated with the Tories. They're both as bad as each other. But what I don't like is that they're so similar to each other that they sideswipe everything to the other side. So when Labour's in, they sideswipe everything that it's all to do with the Tories. When the Tories in, they sideswipe it, so it's all to do with Labour, right?
And they're the
whichever side you are on, they do that all the time.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm fed up with both of them.
Yeah, that's why I say these issues that they pick, they just one kicks it one way. That's why I say it's a political football and kicks it back. It's just It's just
But
how it
all I'm
is.
saying is, please don't keep having a side swipe and saying, "Oh, it's how the Tories left us," because you were just as bad.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Tony Blair was kicked out and that the Conservatives came in and all of that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
If I remember rightly, we had a hung government when Blair was out. We couldn't choose, and it was actually the Conservatives and the Lib Dems that had to
That's
join
right. The
together a
Lib
joint
Dems.
party to get us out
Yeah.
of the shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that's this isn't a place for politics. This is me just turning around and saying I don't agree with any of them, bastards.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, I do work for them, so I have to sort of hold my tongue a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Give them time.
I think let's be honest.
They'll both hang each other.
Yeah. Well, when you're in opposition, it's easy to make as many promises and say you can do this and that, and then once you get in government, it's different. It is different.
Yeah,
it's a fact. It's just how it is. Right. I watched Blue Velvet for the first time at the weekend. I was shocked how easy it was to follow. I was expecting it to be very twisted and surreal, but the narrative was very easy to follow.
Yeah. Oh. Now go and watch Twin Peaks and say the same.
Yeah. And then he says, I also watched Beach of the War Gods, 1973. It's a Chinese martial arts film that pays homage to, here we go, Akira Kurosawa. Oh, I think I said that right. The Seven Samurai and Sergio Leone spaghetti westerns. Really entertaining. So I think I managed.
Like I said, I think we're both making a concerted effort, aren't we, to watch more Chinese, Korean.
Yeah, of
course. What we call world cinema. You know what I mean?
So. Yeah, I think, and that's a good thing. Has to be a good thing, doesn't it? And it says there's a 40-minute fight sequence at the end of which is incredible.
40 minutes fight. It was his Christ. Even the Rocky only Rocky lasted 10 minutes. Jesus Christ!
Oh, crikey! Oh dear. Well, what can I say? I think Tony slept in. Oh yeah, we haven't had Tony.
No, I'll tell you what Tony's doing, right? He's wrapping up your next bloody parcel of DVDs ready to send out tomorrow. That's what he's doing.
Oh dear.
Miserable bastard.
Oh dear. Steve's going, Ian Dell, who is your favourite Dad's Army actor? And what else did they do that you liked? My favourite was James Beck, Private Walker. Sadly, he died very young and didn't do a lot. Now, that's an interesting question, isn't it?
Well, mine's Le Monsieur.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to say what film, you know, that I like that he's in that's not Dad's Army. He was a very, very good jobbing, post-starring actor.
Yeah, I think
he was in. I think he was in a few Ealing films. I think he was in a few.
Yeah. Was he married to Attie Jakes? Was it?
Yeah.
That's it. I thought I remember that. Yeah.
It was very bad. How I still, even if I've watched the documentary, read the book, the autobiography, I still think she was cruel.
Oh dear.
Presenting all boyfriends and actually having him move into the house. The kids not, and all for the sake of the kids. He moved into a separate part of the house.
Yeah.
But he always turned around and said, I think this is what was poignant about it. He said, when I was away doing all of what I was doing, she was the one that basically looked after the kids, cleaned up after them, got them to school. In other words, was the man of the house.
Yes, yeah.
and that means that she's a wonderful mother. And with that, I think that's what in his head he turned around and said, "I'm happy with what she did." They got
Yeah.
divorced, and I think he married another famous actress that was on TV, and she did the same thing as well. I think, didn't
Really?
she?
Oh,
Forgotten who he married
yeah,
after Hattie Jakes.
yeah.
But
It
it's another one that, and she had an affair with somebody else. I think it was a rock star. I think it was something
you
like
always
that.
felt with him as an actor that he really was like he was in the part. That was
Such a
him.
nice,
Yeah,
kind,
yeah.
softly spoken man
That's it. You
who
felt he was exactly that character, didn't you?
yeah.
Definitely.
Because I mean, if you're talking about Dad's Army, I remember the what's his name who plays Private Pike.
Uh,
He
Ian
he
Lavender.
yeah,
Ian Lavender.
he played in the film version of Rising Damp.
Yeah, yeah,
Beckinsale's role.
yeah, yeah.
So that there's lots of things. Arthur Lowe. I mean, Christ, what's he been in? I think he did a number of parodies. Like Frankie Howard did all of the
Yeah,
Up Pompeii type films, Up the
yeah.
Chastity Belt. I think he did a number of those, like No
Yeah.
Sex Please
He
and
was
the,
in a film that I really like. He was in If. He's the headmaster in If, isn't he? Have you
yeah.
seen it? Yeah. Great film. Malcolm McDowell's debut as a film. Fantastic film. But yeah, he must have been in a few other
What did
roles.
Clive Dunn do?
That's a good question. I know to be honest, he played on this granddad image, didn't he? He
Well,
had
he
a
did,
single
but
in the
was
chart.
that because of Dad's Army? And actually, before then, he didn't play on that so much. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he's probably cashing in a way from the because did he get his own series, comedy series, with
Don't
that
know.
same sort
Yes,
of
I think he
character?
did
Yeah,
afterwards. But
yeah,
what I'm trying to get at is I think he was the third person they hired, wasn't it? They got Arthur Lowe in, they
yeah,
got the Monsieur in, and then I think it was Clive Dunn that they actually hired third, I think.
yeah, yeah,
And yet they were very good at choosing actors that would gel together, but you wonder to yourself, where was Clive Dunn then? What had he done? Was it on stage or was it on TV? I can't think.
yeah.
Clive Dunn to me is always remembered because of Dad's Army and the fact that stupid song "Granddad, We Love You" and all that
Oh well,
crap,
that's
right?
it. That was
Right.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he played a granddad in his own show called
That's
Grandad
right.
or something
He
like
was
that,
just
right?
following on from that
Right.
single,
But
really.
I just can't think
Yeah,
before then what he did.
yeah. I bet he isn't. I bet there isn't. Whereas John LeMessurier pops up in a few British films in
Yeah.
1960s. Um, and
Well, he
I said,
always popped up
yeah,
as someone sort of like the person who helps in the lab, or
yeah,
the second, the corporal underneath the sergeant
yeah,
major or something,
yeah,
or the
yeah.
he was never sort of like the authority because I think he was so
No,
softly spoken.
yeah,
It was always like,
that's true. uh,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
But maybe that's just how I'm interpreting him. It's funny how
yeah,
memory, when somebody asks a question and you suddenly have to go back into your own memory,
that's
it's
right.
hard
Yeah,
to come up with something hard edged that the person done, and we're
yeah.
giving them a disservice.
Did they
But
only do one season without Walker after he died, or
ooh,
did they do
not,
2 seasons?
not sure.
Yeah,
See, Dad's Army to me was also on
because you
radio.
see, I always remember him. He was such a big character, Walker, in many ways. And
Yeah,
when he died, I kind of felt they really missed him. I don't even know who replaced him. I can't even remember who they tried to write in.
Well, yeah, because there were so many other fringe characters, weren't there? I mean, you
Yeah.
got John Pertwee's brother in it.
Oh yes, yeah.
You've got the Scottish one, ain't you? That basically had such a thick accent I couldn't hardly understand him half the bloody time.
Yeah, yeah. He was good though. He was good in that role.
You know, and the thing that makes it work is it's just as I said. He really knew how to get all these weird characters together and make them gel.
Yeah, yeah.
And not one of them really held the limelight, even though you had Arthur Lowe at the top and you had then all the others,
yeah,
you know, in the credits.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, they were all as good as you know, there was not one that was standout over the other.
Yeah.
You obviously, if you're always looking at a hierarchy, you'd always have Arthur Lowe at the top. But at the end of the day, I thought his character was prickly. And I was looking at all the others, actually. It was him that I was taking the piss out of.
Well, yes, he was so pompous. That's how it was. Do you remember that episode where he played his brother? And his brother was a drinker, wasn't he? And do you remember he did a dual role? Do you remember that story?
Know. He was a banker, wasn't he? And
he was a banker, but his brother was a totally different character.
Yeah, but where did his brother come from? Did he come from Southend-on-Sea or somewhere in the Midlands?
He played the character as well as an actor. I thought it was really good.
What did you think of the modern film remake that they did with Catherine? Was it Catherine Zeta-Jones or whatever it was?
No, I wasn't over impressed with it. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't brilliant. It
wasn't Carry On Columbus bad, was it?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. But it just, I think we loved those actors who played them characters so much that was it. You can't replace them. Yeah. I mean, to me, Dad's Army is actually a family. They're all a family together of characters, and that's why you grow to love them. You just absolutely love them because. And it's sort of got its own formula. You know what is going to kind of occur and happen in these situations, and that's what's so lovable about it. You know that you know exactly how it's going to go, and that's brilliant. That's how it works. That's why people liked it so much. It had its own formula, and it worked well. Yeah. That's why I never mess with anything. Sometimes people need to know this, that you don't mess around when things are working. Sometimes these series, as they think, we need to freshen it up and change it a bit, after it's been going so long. No, if the formula's working, you stick with it. And that's what Dad's Army did. That's why it was so successful all those years.
Yeah.
It knew exactly what it was doing.
I wish sometimes the BBC would go back, look at themselves and go back to the strengths of these. At the end of the day, they're all talking at the moment about the traitors, and I'm going, bollocks to all of that shit.
Oh, no, don't interest.
I'd much prefer to watch a rerun of Dad's Army or Steptoe and Son or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What's all this Strictly Come bollocks? I mean, I'm fed up with all of that.
Yeah.
I want now for you to put your efforts into getting people together to make something new comedy-wise or do something different.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. The thing is, when they do comedy, it's not aimed at us, is it, anymore?
No,
that's it. For the BBC Three lot, it's a young comedy, supposedly, and it's not. It doesn't appeal to us. We don't find it something we relate to. Don't relate to it at all. To me, it just turns me. You see a trailer. I have seen some trailers, and I think, oh God, I wouldn't want to watch that. Just, no way.
That's everything that's on telly at the moment.
I don't think I watch live TV. The only thing I watch, and I know people will laugh at me, but it's a weakness. I've got his Bargain Hunt. I watched reruns of Bargain Hunt. I just love going around fairs and things like that. That's it. There's nothing else that would I'd be watching.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got Jamie saying, Del, not sure if you saw my Discord message, but there's some decent gaming docs on Prime.
Yeah, I was going to mention it in my blog this week. I actually put heart and said thank you. Well, I don't know if I put thank you. It's just like the week before. I usually put heart and try and go back. But sometimes it's a bit difficult for me because I fall asleep at night and then it's too late at night for me to send it. And then in the morning, it's so early in the morning, I'm getting ready for work and all of that sort of stuff. But he put a Blu-ray documentary on the Spectrum in a private message to me. But only this Christmas did I buy another Spectrum documentary called I think called Rainbow Warriors or something like that. And it seems very much like all the gaming documentaries out at the moment are all Spectrum ones. And I was a Commodore man. But with all that being said, I did actually order that Blu-ray that he put. Because I will buy anything. I've seen no end of gaming documentaries. I saw one called Get Lamp, which was about text adventures, believe it or not. You know, I think the most well-known gaming documentary is from Bedrooms to Billions, which was a very well-rounded documentary about how kiddies made games in their bedrooms. And then this was at the start where big companies like Ocean and US Gold suddenly cropped up and sold these games, and they made millions, you know. But it's one of those things where the gaming industry back then was so thick and so fast, you know, so quick. It was that the companies burnt out as fast as they grew up. You know, a company would come out of nowhere in the spring, and by the following summer, the next year, they were dead, you know. And yet you'd look at their gaming catalog and you'd go, wow, weren't there some classics in there? You know, a perfect example of that is a company called Task Set. They just cropped up out of nowhere, and then they died a death, you know. They tried to, I think the gaming industry sort of like went from a single person coding in their bedroom into a company that had 5 people working on a game in it, and you had to have your own premises and all of this sort of stuff. So it's more like it is now. You know, you got nearly 100 people working on games now. 100 plus people, graphic artists, music artists, coders, game engine coders. You know, in fact, actually, they even mention the caterers in the credits at the end of a game these days. You know what I mean? It's like a film. It's like a film thing. You know, like who was the carpenter on this, and who was who cleaned the skid marks out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's pants. You know, you got everything. You know, you got everything in the credits.
Actually, I saw something that in credits they had COVID advisors. And I'm thinking, hey, you're still going on about COVID. Well, there's people who
the funniest credit scenes is in Naked Gun. By no word of a lie. I will watch the credits go up in Naked Gun, and it makes me laugh. They've, instead of mentioning woman at the corner, woman bloke in the doorway of the bank and all of that, they actually list the lines that they said. Oi, don't shoot me, played by whatever it is. And then it's got grip, lead grip. What's a grip anyway?
Actually, what is a grip?
right? And all of these are going on while the credits, and I'm going, geez, this is funny. This is
I like that.
this is why I like Naked Gun, because it's like they're even taking the piss in the credits. Carpenter, if I was a
Best
carpenter,
Boy?
Carpenter, if I was a carpenter, where's Mary gone? You know what I mean? Oh, all in the credits. It's just amazing. You have to go and watch Naked Gun now and watch the credits to know what I'm talking about. But, you know.
Oh dear.
No, but thank you very much, and very much appreciate. Like I said, he's becoming my go-to guy now for films I've got to watch, and then what's being announced and out there, if you know what I mean. So, and what a great channel he's got. Don't you think he's got a good channel?
Oh, Jamie's got a brilliant channel.
Well, bloody say something.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a brilliant channel.
Jesus Christ, it's like you go to sleep when I'm talking.
I thought it was. I just think he has got a brilliant channel. He's a brilliant bloke. Is a Yorkshireman? Bloody hell! I mean, that's
but you can't win them all. I mean, you have to have a bad side, and that's what that is.
You know, I mean, he's a great bloke. You know, I mean, he's from Leeds as well.
I told you the first thing I'm going to do up north is I'm going to go round his house and nick everything he's got.
Blimey heck. Hey, back. Right. Since you'd mentioned Ian's eating had been fixed. That's about my dressing gown. Yeah. It's kind of attached to me, I think.
I thought it was a suit.
Yeah.
I thought it was from I thought it was from Carnaby.
Yeah.
Carnaby suit. Savile Row.
Yeah. I've still got it there. And thanks, Del, for putting Ian right, Del, on my first question. Charles Duncan says, there you are. Put right. He's good. That's why he's on here, just to put me right. And that's all. Yeah, his knowledge.
Bollocks.
He keeps me, in tune or not in tune. Question. Oh God, what question? Which three actors would you play you in your life story biopic movie?
Biopic movie.
One young adult actor and one old actor. What a bloody question! God, child actor. Bloody hell! Who do I know as a child actor? Can you? Has it got to be one now, or could we go into the past?
Well, I don't see why not. I've forgotten his name, but I know which child actor I want to play me, so I'm going to look it up. I don't mind cheating. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm going to say my child actor Roddy McDowall. Why not? Because I like Roddy McDowall
as a child actor.
Yeah, don't you know Roddy McDowall was a child actor?
Yeah, but he's more an adult actor.
No, but he started as a child actor.
I know he was in Lassie. But,
and I like Roddy McDowall, so I've just put.
Anyway, the one I was looking up was Jack Wilde.
Yeah, I knew you'd pick him when you've said that. I knew you'd pick. You mentioned.
I thought you were going to choose the one he played in Kes.
I know. I'm a big fan of Roddy McDowall, so I mean, I've got to choose him. That voice, Roddy McDowall, you just know it. It pops up in so many things, and you hear his voice, and there he is. A young adult actor, bloody hell.
Charlton Heston.
Yeah, you could do that, couldn't you? I know. I'm nothing like him, but a young Errol Flynn. Swashbuckling character. Yeah.
How does Errol Flynn? How does Errol Flynn
Errol
Played
Flynn.
the bird's
I
eye
don't look
fish finger,
anything
the
like
bird's eye
Errol.
fish finger man, and Santa Claus.
And one old actor. Oh, God.
Oh well, I've already got my old actor, Ian Hill, the Ramblings.
Oh, no.
But yours is going to be Buster Merrifield, isn't it?
Oh.
When he plays Grandad.
Yeah, I know. Oh.
Well, Uncle Albert he plays.
I don't know.
No, who would I choose as an old one? I think I'd choose. I know who you should be choosing. The bloke who plays in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and all the other films.
Oh, Lionel Jeffries.
Lionel Jeffries.
Yeah, I'll pick him. Thank you. Thank you. You've just.
No, that's who All right.
Thank you.
Man Movies has just said it. I'll choose Richard Attenborough then.
Money tonight.
I'll choose Richard Attenborough then. So stuff you, you bastard. Yeah.
Yeah, Richard Attenborough's a good choice. I could have chosen him as well. So it's a good one. Very good.
You can't have them all.
All my favourite actors. Yeah.
Why, your brothers or something? What, one falls sick, the other one steps in. What's this all about? No, I do love Roddy McDowall.
Yeah, yeah.
You know full well. I mean, I mean, he's in Columbo. He plays a fantastic character in Columbo.
Yeah.
He's in The Martian Chronicles.
That's right.
He's in My Favorite Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
He's just got. He's in Buck Rod. He's guest stars in Love.
He is.
In Fantasy Island. Buck Rogers. He was everywhere.
Yeah, he's in every blooming thing. But he
was everywhere.
Yeah. He
had that sort of voice where you went, I know exactly who he is.
Yeah,
just by hearing him talk.
Yeah, he must have taken on anything that was offered to him. He was that sort of actor.
Yeah.
And good luck to him. You know. I still like him.
Yes, actually, James just turned around and said I should have had Anthony Hopkins. He's quite right.
Yeah.
I've made no qualms about it that I've loved the film The Edge on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
That's got it's got one of my favorite Jerry Goldsmith scores. I have to go through mentioning Jerry Goldsmith at least once. Right, a night.
Of course. We'll let you mention it.
The Edge has got I think his name's is it Alec Baldwin in it? And it's got it's got one of the famous model.
Which one?
I think is it Claudia Schiffer?
Claudia Schiffer, or is it Claudia?
No, I don't know quite who it is. But it's where they're all being tracked down by a bear because their plane got hit by flocks of birds and they crash land. But he's such a billionaire that he's read lots and lots of books that he knows that if you have a paper clip and you rub it on your and you stick that on a leaf, you'll be able to find out which is north and all of this sort of stuff. But he's actually trying to save the other two that are in his party that survived the plane crash, even knowing that one of them is having an affair with your wife. You know what I mean? It's a very, very, very good film. Very good. The Edge. Brilliant film. Have you ever seen it, The Edge?
No.
Oh, I'm going to have to send you it. Yeah. Oh, I want to send it to you now. We're in the middle of the stream.
Yeah. I definitely would watch it. Yeah. Sounds good. Right. So Jamie again was saying a fantastic modern day silent movie is All Is Lost. I've heard of this one, starring Robert Redford. It's strictly not a silent movie, but he goes the whole film and only utters a couple of words.
I've heard of it and haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've heard of it, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I am. No. And he says highly recommended. This is interesting for you. Napoleon is 332 minutes long. Wow.
So that's 5 or so odd hours.
Wow.
Let's see, 180 is 3 hours. 240 is 4 hours. So It's four and a bit, or nearly 5 hours long. Is that
Yeah.
right? Bloody hell! For a silent film.
Yeah. That's a hell of a lot.
I've got it.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it.
Yeah. I wonder how engaging it is. Would you start falling asleep halfway through? It'd be interesting. I wonder how good it is, because it can happen, can't it? It just.
Yeah, Jamie just said it's five and a
Yeah.
half, 5 and a bit hours.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. Charles Duncan, Ian and Del, you may already know this. Sending messages on the computer sometimes limits you how many words you can send. It's frustrating at times. Yeah. That's true.
It actually counts down for you. It says 200 characters and you type it in, and it suddenly says right at the end, when you've got about 5 more words to put in, it says you've got 5 characters left. You go, bastard. Then you go back and you're taking all the commas out of it and all the spaces.
And it still,
and it still won't bloody fit in.
Yeah, it is. That's true. Now, Andy makes Star Wars. The werewolf is good CGI at the time. Van Helsing was released around the same time as the Underworld trilogy that I don't actually mind. Underworld 4 and 5 are terrible. I've never seen the Underworld trilogy.
Yeah, I've watched Underworld 1 and 2, and I've got the box set of all 5 films, but I can't get round to watching the end ones because I know it goes into this lightning throat, and it's all vampires versus werewolves and all of this sort of stuff. And she's this type of character that's sort of like a super vampire or something, can walk in the day or something like that, and all this sort of stuff. Everybody who watches those films watches it for Kate Beckinsale.
That's anyway. That's not for no else.
There she is in all leathers or in a basket or something. And that's it. That's all you need, and you've got bums on seats in it. So look at the story. It's what.
It's what the eye can be. That's how it is, isn't it? Right. Here we have. Jamie says, question to Del, a favorite 80s, early 90s game that would make a good movie. I think Space Harrier could make a good sci-fi action movie.
It would. I could just imagine, with all those trippy effects, who might direct Space Harrier? Because you don't even know what Space Harrier is, do you? You can't even think what it looks like. Ian,
no, I've no idea. Harrier, I always think of Harrier like jump jets.
You've got this sort of like young man's that rules you out for a start.
Yeah,
got this sort of young man with a jetpack on, flying over this checkered, flawed world with aliens bouncing along, and you're firing into the screen. So it's very hard to see what you're firing into. But what a favorite 80s or early 90s game? I'll tell you what, my favorite arcade game is Ghosts and Goblins. Right? You've got Sir Arthur Pendragon, right, in his knight's outfit, wandering through a graveyard with zombies coming out of the graves, out of the stones. And you've got to rescue the maiden at the end, right? I mean, that I would make that in a heartbeat. Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah.
They followed it up with a game called Ghouls and Ghosts. It's universally known as one of the hardest games you'll ever play because this is how sadistic that game is, right? You get to the end, right? There's about 5, 6, 7 levels, something like that, right? You get to the end and it turns around and says, you got to do it all again. Because you needed to kill the baddie at the end with a particular weapon and you didn't have it. So then you got to go through the whole thing again to do it. I'll tell you now, when you put your money in, you'd be lucky to get out the first graveyard. Let alone the rest of the bloody game that will take you 3 hours to get through. Sadistic bastards who wrote that game.
Right.
There you are. That's my pick, Ghosts and Goblins.
Right.
Yeah.
And It says, I like the first few Underworld films. I've not seen the others. I haven't seen it at all.
Like I said, I think a lot of people are in that boat. It's one of those films like when I was watching what's it called? Resident Evil. Right?
Yeah.
So many people watched like the first, second, and then by the time it got to about the fifth and sixth film, it was like, do I even care anymore? Because at the end of the film, it was always ended on a cliffhanger with around about 1 million bloody infected attacking you or something, or the big ship that she landed on was blown up out of existence, and all the zombies or whatever it was were all on boats surrounding her or something, right? And you're just going, oh, so there's another cliffhanger ending for another film then like this. And you just went, oh. And Underworld, to me, it's like, oh, I like the first film, and so I watched the second one. The second one come along, you go, well, that one wasn't quite as good as the first one, but it was all right.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like it almost falls into that production of, these seem like TV movies now. Direct to video. Do you remember that word?
Direct to video. That's the final insult, really.
The quality now is it's that what they call, what's that term called? Diminishing returns.
That's right. No, that's true. Yeah.
Right. You spend all this money to make it a great film, and then you put less and less budget money into the next film to get to try and get the same amount of money that the first film got.
Yep. You cashing in on the first film by paying less. Production values go downhill.
Planet of the Apes fell into that trap.
Yeah.
It worked though. Planet of the Apes.
Well, I know it's controversial, but I'd still much rather have the original Planet of the Apes than the new ones. There's something about them. They're just, to me, just so much better films.
Yeah.
Even though
I think what Planet of the Apes did, even though they cut the budget, they never took away from the story.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
It's almost like we'll give the writers all the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at least we've got something to be proud of.
And to me, I know the Planet of the Apes is a good lot of films because, the third one is possibly my favorite, which is Escape from Planet of the Apes.
Oh, well, you know what I think?
Wonderful film. And that's the third one. It shows you how good they were.
I keep mentioning why Escape from the Planet of the Apes is a pivotal film, and that's because without that film, it never turned into a round robin.
Yeah. And they don't have the same charm nowadays. As much as how well they're done, the new Planet of the Apes films, I'm not criticizing that. They are well done, but it doesn't have the charm. It really doesn't.
No.
I don't think so. You can have all the best effects, the best actors, even, but if you haven't got that extra special bit, it doesn't work. And the original Planet of the Apes have that, right? I mean, all right through, even the ones that are not as good, I think still have something about them. Yeah.
Then again, I can't think of anybody playing the perfect chimp other than Roddy McDowall. There you
go. Yeah. Of course, as we mentioned Roddy McDowall before, it's just perfect.
It's his voice. He sounds like a chimp.
Yeah.
If you could put a voice to English words to what a chimp is saying, it would come out with Roddy McDowall's voice.
Yeah. It's interesting that do you remember the TV series?
Oh, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to enjoy that. It was a big thing, and it got cancelled. Okay,
13 episodes. Yeah, halfway
but he was
through.
In that again. It proved to me how good he was because he was in that, and he was still good. He played a different name. What was
he was only not in one Planet of the Apes film, just one, and he wasn't involved in the Planet of the Apes cartoon series called
Yeah, I forgot about the
Battle for the
cartoon
Planet of the
series.
Apes, I
Yeah,
think it was called.
yeah. But I love the TV series. But it got cancelled. It didn't do very well, did it?
I think it was more to do with how much money it cost.
Yeah, yeah,
That they put it in a ghost slot. You know that famous ghost slot, which was Friday nights at 9 o'clock,
yeah. They
right?
killed it. Yeah,
By the way, it came out from
yeah,
Fox. There you
yeah.
are.
Yes, yeah.
That's the kiss of death.
I think it wasn't it a bigger hit in this country than it
It
was in
was.
America. They did
It,
really well here. Yeah,
it falls into the trap that Logan's Run was 13 episodes,
yeah,
Planet of the Apes was
yeah,
13 episodes. It got half a season in and got cancelled.
yeah,
Automan was 13 episodes
yeah.
long. We won't talk about Manimal.
No, no, we have to get that in every week. Oh, yeah,
Right?
just one thing. Planet, the TV series is available on Amazon still at a reasonable price. So
Yeah.
anybody who's interested, order a copy because it's good. I enjoyed it. I think it's really good for a TV series. And Roddy
If
McDowell,
you can get the American version of the complete Planet of the Apes, right?
yeah,
That has all 5 films plus the TV series plus the
and the
cartoon.
animated, yeah,
And you
yeah.
can't get the cartoon in this country.
No, you can't. No, that's true. I haven't got the
And it's
cartoon.
an expensive box set to get.
Yeah.
Really is. But remember this, what my friend Denny said. They've now gone back to the negatives and they've done the restoration of all 5 Planet of the Apes films.
So we're going to get
ready for a 4K release this year.
Yeah.
And that's really good news because Fox is by Disney.
Yeah. And
so
they've got a lot of good films.
That announcement alone tells you that there is going to be
some good films are going to come out. Yeah. Because everybody was fearing that certain films won't get a release because of them being Fox. But now that is good news. So we'll see. Yeah. And Jamie says, it's the first time in my life that I didn't vote Labour. I didn't like them pulling funding for green energy. So I voted Green. I think we need to give Labour a bit of time to dig us out of this Tory hole. It's going to take years. But anyhow, we won't get.
I'm not going to talk about politics anymore. But it's. I mean, I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I will sit here to the end of the earth and just turn around and say they're as bad as each other.
Yeah. Is here. It's Tony. Hello, evening.
Oh,
Ian and Del. Hello, Tony.
That bastard's shown up.
You should have heard what he was saying about you before.
He must have wrapped up the next parcel post to you early or something.
Oh, and Steve's gaming. 14 years of Tory cuts have decimated the NHS. As simple as that. Yeah. James says, "Hey Tony, you've woken up." Oh dear. And Tony, evening, Jamie. I'm sure Ian will dock my pay. Crikey. I'm paying him enough, Delboy.
Oh, here we go.
Oh dear.
I'll tell you what. If I'm being paid, it's a bit like Eric Morecambe and the BBC, where they turned around and said, the only thing we got paid was when we went into the canteen and got.
We had to settle for Delboy. We tried all these others, and I'm afraid he was the only one available. That's who you've got. I'm afraid. Yeah. So you have to have him. Yeah. He's cheaper, a bit cheaper. I would. Yeah. Then Tony says, never mention religion or politics. Very disappointed the eating allowance cuts from Labour. Yeah, I'm sure something could have been done to higher rate taxpayers instead. I agree totally, but I better not say much more. And then Jamie agrees. And Charles Duncan, Del, when Chaplin was restored to DVD box sets, its retail price was £100. It didn't sell well. I managed to pick the 2 box sets up for £16.
I got a bargain.
Wow, from £100 to 16.
Yeah, I think it came out at the same time as those Laurel and Hardy, that big box set that came in.
That is
You know
a
those
bargain.
deluxe box sets that came out, you know, where they had them right in like this.
Have you got the
it
box
as a
set?
part 1 and part 2. I think there was a Marilyn Monroe part 1 and part 2 that was like that had all of this. They made up a picture on your spine and all of this sort of stuff.
Have you got the Chaplin box
No,
set?
I ain't got the Chaplin one. I've been looking for that myself for years.
Oh, right.
Years.
Well, you did well. So it's well out of print now, is it? Well,
I think.
out of
Oh
print.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know that it's gonna go round full circle because they're even now doing 4K releases of the Laurel and Hardys.
Right. So these have
they're only in the States at the moment.
Yeah. So these Chaplin didn't get a Blu-ray release then. He's had no Blu-ray releases.
I think there are some Blu-ray releases. I just don't think that they're in a box set of a complete set of Chaplin films. Right. You know what I mean? Like The Great Dictator and everything. They're not all in one big.
Yeah.
They've done them as individuals, or they've done things like The Tramp and all of that sort of stuff. You know, special one-offs.
Yeah.
There's a very expensive Harold Lloyd box set. You can't sort of like find it cheaply these days.
No.
I don't know if it's because of the short numbers that they made of them, because they think that when they do them, there's not going to be that many people that will buy them. There'll be film historians and all of that will pick them up and that. And then of course they sell well, and then there's no more of them.
Yeah. Unless somebody comes along,
they don't make another print run of them. I suppose.
Yeah. Let's see. Tony says I liked Arthur Lowe as the bank manager in No Sex, Please, We're British.
Yeah, like I said, he did all those parodies like Frankie Howard did, I think.
Yeah. I've got to watch that. Yeah, I must watch that. I've got that. It's one that Tony sent me, and I've got to watch that yet.
There's a lot of films. Woody Allen did that. Everything You Wanted to Know About.
Yeah, I love Woody Allen.
Right?
Yeah.
And nobody really talks about that anymore. They'd rather talk about Hannah and Her Sisters and Manhattan and all of that.
Yeah,
than talk Then talk about
Yeah.
Bananas, Casino Royale, and and Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex. I mean, it's got Burt Reynolds in that film.
Yeah.
And a sperm, for God's sake. I mean,
there's so many funny scenes in that one. I just love it. And I love the sci-fi one that he did, Sleeper.
Yeah,
it's a great.
Nobody talks about those anymore.
Yeah.
Then again, nobody really talks about Woody Allen anyway, probably because of the stigma.
Unfortunately, but I think he's great. I've got some of his films. I ought to get more. I've got a couple on there, and I've got a Blu-ray of.
I got about 10 of his films.
Have you? You've got. Oh, that's pretty good. That's good.
Well, I know I've got Bananas, and I know I've got Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex. I know I've got Sleeper. I know I've got Hannah and Her Sisters, because that had
Michael Caine
in it.
Yeah.
I think everybody's seen Manhattan and Annie Hall.
Yeah, I've got crikey, the one where he's an agent, a theatrical agent. What's it called? I've mentioned it other weeks, and I've remembered the name.
The later films that he did, it's always the same. He's in a New York street, and he's a Jew, and he's it's all about the Jewish families that he's around. He'll pop into a shop, and it'll always be a tailor or something.
It's Broadway Danny Rose. That's the one.
Oh, Broadway Danny Rose. Yeah. I haven't got that one.
Mia Farrow.
I haven't got that one on Blu-ray.
Yeah, no. Mia Farrow's in that. It's really good. Excellent. Yeah. But I'd like to have more, I think, of his films. I've got Sleeper and Annie Hall. That's all on DVD. But yeah. Nobody ever mentions Private Sponge from Dad's Army. He hardly ever spoke. Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's true.
Was he? What was he? A Mountbatten cake?
That's fun. My movies. I blame David Cameron
more
for the mess
politics.
we're in now. His egotistical decision to hold a referendum on Brexit has put the whole country in the shit. Yeah, I'm afraid I agree about the Brexit.
Well, I'll tell you what that is. I mean,
Yeah.
and I told you I wasn't going to do any more politics on this.
Yeah.
And I really do mean it. But if I remember back to that, Cameron was the person who kept going over to the European Union meetings and got pissed off because he'd say, we're going to do this. And the Germans would come back and say, no, you're not. And because there were more of them than us, he turned around and said, I'm fed up with this. I'm gonna let the British decide. Do you want to come out of this mess or not? Because every time I go over there and say I want to do this, change the law on this, whatever, we get nowhere. And they keep asking us for money whenever somebody's being bailed out, like Spain or something. I'm pissed off with it. So what he did was he put the referendum out there and then pulled out, didn't he? When the results came, he said, "Oh well, there you are. Then you got your win. I'm now resigning." Bye.
Yeah,
which to me is a cowardly act.
Yeah, he supported the referendum, didn't he? He said the government were in favour. He claimed that they'd negotiated another deal, didn't they?
But they pushed it. They pushed him for an answer. Even though he said we'll have a referendum, and the king and it was obviously the Queen that passed it, because you have to go past the Queen to actually do it.
I don't think she was keen on it. Apparently, no,
right. But at the end of the day, they questioned him. Well, which side are you on? He went, "Oh no, I've just started it. It's for the country to decide." I think they kept doing that. He kept saying that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem that you've got with Brexit, to me, was unlike leaflets that went out in the world in regards to AIDS.
Yeah.
And the big television public information films.
Yeah.
There were very little of them. They were more like party political broadcasts saying, we're behind this because, right? And they were all false.
Yeah.
All the money that we'd get from leaving will go into the NHS.
That's right. That was their big thing. We're going to get loads of money for NHS, apparently, won't we?
All that was is a sound snippet, because what they supposed to say was, if we don't give money to the EU, then we save this much money, and we could be putting that into the NHS, is what it should have said. But that doesn't read very well on the side of a bus, does it?
It's not, no. Yeah.
Right. So when you cut it down, it looks very much like, hey, pull out, we'll put this money in the NHS.
Yeah.
Right? So, of course, anybody that sees the NHS flat on its knees go, oh, well, I'm ready to be out then.
Yeah.
Put all the money back into our NHS. Yeah. My dad, if it had been alive, because he wasn't at the time.
Yeah.
He would have said, the thing that I like about Brexit is I do think that we get our own powers back. When we write a law, we don't have to go to the EU and say, right, we're going to change this law. We're accountable for ourselves. That's what my dad would have been very pro on. But he wouldn't have liked how it went about. No. But that's what I want to say about that.
I think as well, the turnout wasn't very good, because most people.
Yes, it was a split decision, and one of the lowest people that came out, and the win was by 0.5% or something.
Yeah,
stupid,
I think there were people.
1%.
Actually, I can't even remember if I voted. I would have voted yes, but I assumed I was one of these people who thought, oh well, it's going to be yes anyhow, so that's fine. I don't need to vote. I think there were people who just assumed the yes would win.
I was too young, you see, to understand what the politics of the 70s was like, trying to get into the EU.
Oh, crikey! Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
It
You
was a big.
weren't. You were like 35 or
Yeah,
something when that was going
I
on, weren't you?
remember 1973 is when I think we
Yeah,
officially.
decimalisation and all of that sort of
Yeah,
stuff had just finished.
yeah, yeah. But uh, sometimes it proves that these referendums are not always as good as people think they are. Not very good. The turnout, people don't turn out. Why
Yeah.
should they? Uh,
Anyway, it just showed up
yeah,
just how um ripped off we were, because if you look at the fishing lanes, you just see how much they were
yeah,
peddling of our fish that were in our waters. It was like, bloody
yeah.
hell. If that's where the lines are, why is
Uh,
it that you lot are in our water then? You know
I
what I
like
mean?
this bit that Tony said, and then he buggered off in a huff.
Well,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
how
where I'm
what he
saying
did. Yeah,
Tony and Jamie are quite right. It's like politics, what a load of shit. And then when
yeah,
it comes to Brexit, what a shit show it was.
yeah. And Jamie
And
says
that's all I
exactly.
think of it. It was a
Yeah,
shit show.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Here he is. I remember this character, actor who played up. Here he is. Taffrin Thomas came into it after James Beck passed away. I
Yeah.
thought he stayed on until the end, but only for one series, apparently. I'd call the modern film just watchable. Yeah, I know what he means about that. But yeah, we know him from Doctor Who, don't we? Taffrin
Yeah.
Thomas, spearhead from space, ringing up
Oh
the
yeah,
local
yeah, yeah.
newspaper from the hospital, and yeah,
He's got one of those voices and faces again, isn't he?
yeah.
Mm.
He just played these parts, and he was also in the Survivors, wasn't he? He was the
Yeah.
one who they executed. He murdered somebody, and there's a big
He
story,
only has to
wasn't
put a suit on and he looks exactly like he does in everything else.
there? Yeah.
You know
I
what I
like
mean?
the Survivors. People don't talk enough about the Survivors. It's a great series,
I
the
think
original
most
one.
people will remember what the title sequence was
Yeah,
like and then not know what the show was like.
yeah, great series. Um, and favorite UK sitcom character.
Oh, let me think. By the way, that was a joke.
Yeah, go on.
Oh,
I mean,
Delboy, Jesus Christ.
okay, I'll give you
Oh, let
mine.
me think. I've even got it in the title of my name. Oh no, Delboy.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Favorite
yeah,
UK
yeah,
sitcom character.
yeah. I thought you might say somebody else because I know another sort of
Look,
sitcom favorite of yours.
the thing about this one is, right. There's so many, isn't there? I mean, there's
Yeah,
Steptoe, isn't there? There's the
yeah,
Likely Lads, Terry and Bob. There's
yeah.
I mean, there are so many great
There's
characters.
a lot of rich characters to choose from.
I
Yeah,
mean, in America, there'll be so many people that would be turning around and saying Fraser Crane or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just turning around and saying, look, it'd be
yeah,
stupid for me just to turn around and say anybody else other than Delboy because I've got that in my title
yeah.
and my
Of
name.
course. Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I will say that, but of course, I love Steptoe. I love Norman Stanley Fletcher. Christ, the only character where actually we know the middle name. It's even
yeah,
in the title. Norman Stanley Fletcher,
yeah,
you've been sentenced to bloody hell. It's in the
yeah,
title.
yeah,
And I mean, there's Arkwright, isn't there? And there's
yeah,
Granville, and
yeah,
there's so many. He played a character called Clarence.
yeah,
It was a furniture removal man with the thickest bloody specs on, couldn't see bugger all.
yeah,
He came, and then there was all those Welsh characters that he came out with,
yeah,
But I mean, if you want to look for character actors, just look at Ronnie Barker and just look at the
yeah.
rich tapestry of characters that he ever created. But, so come on, then. What's your favourite UK
Well,
sitcom?
I would obviously, I think, go for Steptoe's son, one, R.H. Corbett, but I thought I'll try something that perhaps is not as predictable. Well, maybe it is predictable. And I'll go for Leonard Rossiter as Rigsby. I just can't help but love Rigsby so much as a character. So I would put that, but I do love Steptoe and Son such a lot. That would be an obvious one that I would choose of Steptoe and Son. But I'm going to choose Rigsby because it's such a... There's something about that series at the time. We used to just sit and watch it and just laugh at how... I don't know, just...
What was the cat's name in that sitcom?
Oh, Vienna. I mean, that cat.
It used to make me laugh because my cat that I inherited was called Rigsby, right? Right. And people used to go, "Oh, from the cat from Rising Damp," and I went, "No, the cat was called Vienna."
Yeah,
it's just I think Rigsby suits this cat well because it's a right little bastard. This cat. Right. I can tell you a few stories about that cat. I tell you, it got him. No word of a lie. I came in from work at lunchtime to feed the cat, right? Because I used to come home and put some biscuits or something down. It got into the back boot of my car, got on the parcel tray, and I was halfway back to work when I noticed it. I had to turn back to get him back home. It had got into the car. It was looking at me from the parcel tray. I looked in the rear view mirror, and I was going, "What are you doing back there, you bastard?" And I was on the motorway. I had to turn around, and I was late going back to work.
And that was a good excuse. Why was you late? Oh, well, I had the cat.
Yeah, because the cat got in the back room.
Yeah, that's the one. No one would believe you.
Yeah. He was a right bastard, that cat, but it was great. Loved it to death.
Jamie says the Speedrunner documentary was fun. It's about gamers trying to break the world record in completing games as fast as they can.
Yeah, where this is just for your knowledge, Ian, where there's been big tournaments about, how quickly you can shoot somebody in the head in Call of Duty. A big part of the gaming community will take a big game, and speed run through it. Right? How quickly can they get from the start to the end?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So in a Mario game, it'd be jumping from platform to platform, and getting all the way to the end, and then doing all of the worlds.
Yeah.
And they can do it in 22.52 seconds or something, like 22 minutes, 52 seconds or something. Somebody will do it then in 22 minutes, 51 seconds, and you got to do it all again, I just go with that and said, how is that in any fun?
Yeah.
The fun is savoring that every jump and trying to get all that. This speed running shit.
Yeah.
No, it's not for me.
Yeah. So failing is part of the game bits, isn't it? Learning from failing. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jamie says here, one guy was juggling balls while playing Mario with his feet. What can you say about that? I mean, crikey. Yeah.
You have to. Do you know what? I was looking at that at first, and I was going, "Oh, juggling balls." He was playing with his balls while. Just imagine him scratching his balls while he was trying to run around. Yeah.
Oh, Tony, I agree with you on this. He says I have a soft spot for Hyacinth Bucket. And hard to separate Basil Fawlty and Alan Partridge. I mean, they're all great. It just shows you how many good sitcoms there is, really, isn't there?
Well, Keeping Up Appearances was a good sitcom, but it weren't one. I was sort of like moving on. That came out at the same time as things like Ever Decreasing Circles and all this sort of stuff. So it sort of like stood out a bit, One Foot in the Grave type thing.
Yeah, there's such a wealth. Really, of these.
But I mean, it's miles better than Just Good Friends and things like that. You know what I mean?
I didn't like that one. No, I didn't. No, not keen on that one. Yeah. I can't stand Hyacinth Bucket. She got on my tits.
Well, yeah, I felt sorry for her husband. Really?
Yeah, that's part of it, really. She was an awful character, but we couldn't help but laugh at her, and
Oh, Vicar! Yeah, we'll have the sandwiches out.
And he was, what was he doing? He was a trod.
He looked like he was an ex-salesman that sold pencils or something, stationery equipment or something. And yet she seemed to think that she was like royalty or something.
Well, that was the fun of the series, wasn't it?
Went to royal weddings and things.
Yeah. She thought she was better than she was. Yeah. And because it was bouquet, not bucket, wasn't it?
Well, that's what I mean. That was the character joke. Was it was bouquet?
Bouquet.
Bucket.
Charles Duncan says Clive Dunn made a series called My Old Man. Never seen it. Mid-70s, I think. That would have been cashing in on this Grandad image, I think, that he had. With single in charts.
Yeah.
And Bookman, thanks, Del, for the appreciation.
Yeah, I'll send you the invoice tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll send you the invoice tomorrow.
Yeah. And Tony says a brother-in-law Onslow, Jeffrey Hughes, was a funny character. Jeffrey Hughes, what can you say about him?
Well, I mean, I first saw Jeffrey Hughes as a Bin Man Eddie, wasn't it, in Coronation?
Yeah, Coronation Street, yeah.
But I mean, he was actually he was in Randall and Hopkirk and all sorts of stuff. He was a thug in a lot of things.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Onslow, he's in Heartbeat, wasn't he? He took over Bill Maynard's character, I think. He's sort of like the rogue that was in the village, of Heartbeat.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey Hughes sadly missed again. Another character.
Yeah.
Sadly died.
And Jamie says Victor Meldrew, Basil Fawlty, Derek Trotter, Norman Fletcher.
Norman Stanley Fletcher.
Yeah. And he says, to name a few of my favourites. Yeah. I mean, there's just such a wealth of characters.
Like I said, Arkwright and all of them.
Yeah. Muckman, Jack Wilde is a good shout, Del. There's a bit of a resemblance. Oh, I got flattered.
What is he trying to say? I'm the artful dodger. Is that what he's trying?
Yeah, dodger. And then look at this. Richard Attenborough for old fan Ian. Yes.
Yeah, you didn't choose Richard Attenborough, did you?
Yeah, I did this time because I thought I'd been predictable. Yeah.
What, now Buster Merrifield?
It's like you choosing Delboy all the time, It's predictable. This is a good one. Anthony Hopkins for old Del.
I should have chose Anthony Hopkins.
Old Del lad.
Because I could have got
Del. Roddy started in 3 films called Flicker the Horse, as well as Lassie 1930s and 1940s, and Fantastic Journey 1970s.
And again, Fantastic Journey, something that lasted 13 episodes and died a death.
Yeah. Sad, isn't it?
All set in the Bermuda Triangle. It had Jared Martin in it, didn't it?
Yeah.
He had that tuning fork. Do you know what? Yeah. I had a tuning fork for years as a kid that that you used to do, that you tune with piano. I stuck that into a piece of wood and I had the weapon that was in Fantastic Journey. Because that's what it was a stick with a little prong thing that was made out of perspex and it lit up. Right? And it's just like in Doctor Who. I had a sonic screwdriver, right?
I can imagine. Yeah.
No word of a lie. My sonic screwdriver was my dad's old oil pressure meter, air pressure meter from a car, right? You stuck it in and the air would come, it would push this little metal rod out from the bottom to show what air pressure you had, the old style metal ones. But if you stuck that in, you had a sonic screwdriver. Because the top was where you stuck the nozzle in. It looked just like It just looked just like John Pertwee's sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
Which, if you ever look at it, it looks like a flute. It's like a spy. It's got spirally colours, and, he pushes down, and it sets off bloody bombs on the beach.
Yeah.
Have you seen it in the Silurians, isn't it, or is it in the?
I
think it is the Silurians.
Yeah,
sure.
It's quite early on, isn't it? We see John Pertwee with his sonic.
It's definitely on the beach. There's loads of barbed wire, and he's there blowing up all the bombs on there, and you can see this sonic screwdriver right in front of your face. And it's colourful as anything, right?
Yeah.
And it's got a spring and a collar on it, and he's pulling down on it, and it blows up all these mines.
Brilliant stuff. Oh yeah.
Might have been the Sea Devils.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been.
A good shout for Roddy McDowell, Ian. Yeah.
Yeah, you bastard.
Yeah.
That was the best one.
Thank you, Jim.
I said Charlton Heston.
Yeah. 332 minutes is 5 hours, 5.5 hours.
Yeah, 5.5 hours.
Blooming heck. That is a long film, Napoleon. Yes, would love to see Ghosts and Goblins made into a film, Jamie says. Agreed, it's a very difficult game.
Bloody difficult. Jesus Christ. That's an understatement. Honestly, you put 10 pence in and it says game over. It's as simple as that, really. It's bloody hard. But it's the funniest thing in the world, watching Sir Arthur Pendragon run through this like graveyard. He gets hit by a zombie. It bounces him back, and you see him running around with his underpants on. He's got no armor on. And you're running around, right, with just your pants on, and then in next hit, he's dead. He turns into a stack of bones.
Yeah.
But what a name as well, Sir Arthur Pendragon.
Yeah, that's a good name. Yeah. Ian, what are the figures hanging on the wall behind you? I've only got a few of them in the other room. But what have I got here? I've got... they're all Doctor Who mainly. There's 13th Doctor. There's a Dalek. There's Matt Smith. There's Ace there from which story is that one? Silver Nemesis. And then there's a Dalek again, and then there's a Weeping Angel.
You got a TARDIS.
I've got mainly my main bulk are in the other room.
Have you got a TARDIS?
Yeah, in other room, I've got a TARDIS.
What you mean? It takes up the whole room? Is that what you're saying?
No, yeah, that'd be. Oh God, I'd love to have one. I'd love to have one of them.
Would you like to change? Yeah. Would you like to change one of the doors in your house to look like the front door of the TARDIS? When you open it up, it goes,
yeah.
Oh, look, it's big. Look.
Oh, wouldn't it be great? Oh yeah, yeah. I'd love it. I'd love to have a TARDIS. Yeah, a TARDIS wardrobe. Oh, I did see somebody with a TARDIS in which they'd put all the DVD collection in, which I thought looked really cool as well. Nice place to put them. Yeah. What's Tony watched this week? Oh,
I don't know, but whatever he's watched, he's put it in a box. He's put it in a box and sent it you.
Yeah. He said, "Thought you'd never ask." Yeah.
Yeah, bastard. It's not the Tony bloody show.
Then I forgot. I saw Wolfman at the cinema on Sunday. I thought it was pretty mediocre. 7.5 out of 5.
2.5 out of 5.
Throughout, but ultimately a little dull in the storytelling. Oh well, we'll see when we actually see it.
But it's got to be better than Jack Nicholson's Wolf, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've never seen that one because people.
It's not as bad as what people say, but it is pretty slow.
Is it? Yeah, But that ain't always a bad thing, being slow.
You'd think it would be ideal, wouldn't you, with his eyebrows and
Yeah,
all of that sort of
yeah.
stuff? It'd be,
Yeah,
you know.
because you think of as an actor, Jack Nicholson could play that quite over top sort of character.
He looks
But,
like Wile E. Coyote.
yeah.
Eh?
Actually, I saw you know, in those news feeds that you get through Google and what have you, of the things. I saw there was a picture of Jack Nicholson, and he's looking better because he didn't look that good last time I saw him, and it was good to see him looking healthier.
I think he retired because he was looking more and more drained every film that he was ever
well,
in.
yes, the picture of him now, he looked good. It was nice to see. Apparently, he's recuperated well from it. You know, 'cause he did look not very well, did he? You know, he looked really ill. So it was good to see that. I was pleased to see that. He's such a good character, you know, to see Jack Nicholson. What an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shouldn't think we'll ever see him in anything else, but, you know.
Well, it's like Gene Hackman.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still with us, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, he basically pulled out and said, "That's it, that's enough for me." And then you think about it, that was off of the back of things like, you know, that submarine one, with Denzel Washington, or what's it called?
Oh,
why am I thinking of Hunt for Red October, which is Sean Connery?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, he did all of those fantastic courtroom dramas and all of this sort of stuff. You think, bloody hell, he's in Unforgiven, he's doing absolutely fantastic stuff, and then all of a sudden he says, "I'm done with acting, I'm off."
Yeah, which is yeah. Why not? Why not?
Now you don't even see a picture yet. You got no idea what he looks like.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw a picture of him.
Yeah. He just wanted to retire like people do.
I tell you what, I love him in The Quick and the Dead. I absolutely adore him in Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi's Western.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. The way he comes out with those lines, he says, "The only reason that you see the dawn is because I allow you to live."
Oh, yeah.
You know, you hiring an assassin to kill me, I'm just going to have to punish you again, aren't I? That's what I do, because I own this town. You see the daylight because I allow you to see the daylight. I thought, what a great... This is the reason why people want to play villains.
Yeah.
Because they've got the best lines.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Tony says, there seems to have been a strong French theme. So sorry, somebody's knocking at the door.
Oh, bloody hell. Right. There seems to have been a strong French theme. Scirocco, 1951, starring Humphrey Bogart, set in French administrated Syria in the 1920s. A noirish style. Yeah. I can't tell you anything else because he controls all the words. But that's very interesting, Tony, you bastard. Yeah. Cheers for that. We'll just now wait for Ian. I've read that out now.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you for doing that. Right.
It was just Tony Hawk bragging about how much he knows about French films. Next.
Oh, sounds good anyhow. Yeah. I like it. You can't beat Humphrey Bogart in any film. So it's bound to be good.
I don't know. I never really liked that African, whatever it was.
African Queen, which is a good film.
Maybe it's because it's set in a boat. Maybe it's because Clint Eastwood couldn't do a better job either. I don't know.
It's a good film, that. Audrey Hepburn. Is it? Catherine Hepburn.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right. We've got Danny. I hope you're all good. Just got my PC. I'm good. Oh, right. A new PC. Brilliant. Welcome to our usual talk. Right. Charles Duncan, Ian and Dale, didn't Roddy star in How Green Was My
He did.
Valley, 1940s? Yeah, he did. Yeah. Tony says also a couple of films based on true events. The Last Flight, 2009, starring Marion Cotillard, set in French Sahara in the 1933 about the search for a crashed pilot, and Tuareg rebels also. Continue, dear. 15 Minutes of War, 2019, about a bus hijack of school children by terrorists in French administrated Djibouti in East Africa.
Djibouti?
Yeah, set in 1976. Yeah, that sounds interesting. It does, yeah. Sorry about him laughing there, but I think it's Djibouti. Djibouti. Not Djibouti.
That's just the northern way you said it. Yeah, because there's that lovely Yorkshire village, isn't there, in Africa called Djibouti.
Yeah, Djibouti. Yeah, go. Yeah.
Djibouti. Go on, next.
I'm quite partial to a bit of Marion Cotillard. Was it any good? With regard to 15 Minutes of War, that sounds interesting too. We'll definitely be looking those up. I think I have Sirico in an indicator box set. And Tony says, Olga Kurylenko was a teacher in 15 Minutes of War. I think she was in a Bond. Yes, Jamie, I enjoyed it. As long as you don't mind desert scenes, it's all set there. All right. Yes, Sirico was indicated, Jamie, that it may have been in a Bogart set. Oh, yeah. I wonder if they've done...
I need to probably do a bit more Bogart watching, but I've never been a big Bogey fan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's worth looking at, definitely. Yeah, I've got that box set, but not opened it yet. I bet you've got loads of box sets that you haven't opened.
Yeah, they won't be very long.
Those,
they won't be very long not open because they'll be in the back of my car.
Yeah.
It'd be very nice to have them not opened. Thank you.
He says he likes a good desert scene. I like a desert.
Anybody who's watched Lawrence of Arabia likes a good desert scene. Jesus Christ. I mean, that is a beautiful film, Lawrence of Arabia. My Christ. I can watch that film over and over. I can stop watching that film and then put it on again.
Yeah, it's one of those films.
I love that film.
Yeah. Right. A question: favorite desert scene in a film that isn't Lawrence of Arabia?
Yeah, but he's just being a bastard now, isn't he?
I know. I can think of one which I liked. It's a war film. I remember it because my dad took me to see it, and it's Tobruk. It's probably about 1968-ish, somewhere around that period. I'm not quite exact sure. It's a 60s war film, and that's obviously desert warfare. And
I mean, can you have cowboy and Indian films for deserts like Once Upon a Time in the West or anything like that?
Well, why not?
They're deserts, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd have that. Yeah,
I mean, could you have Castaway as a desert, even though it's a tropical island? It's actually it's a desert. It is called a desert island.
Yeah,
or deserted island, I suppose you call that then.
Yeah, why not?
You know, anyway, I've said my one. Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah, I'm just saying Tobruk, a war film.
Yeah, well, you went all posh, didn't you?
Yeah. Tony, I also Waiting for Anya, set in a village in the Pyrenees near the Spanish border in World War II. It tells the attempt to smuggle Jewish children into Spain to escape the occupying Nazis. That sounds good. Waiting for Anya. I like the sound of that.
Well, that sounds very much like that One Life that we watched, didn't it? Where they tried to get everybody out of Germany into Poland, and then get them over to England and foster them.
That sounds good. Yeah,
sounds very much like that was going on at the same time.
Yeah. Movies. That NHS Brexit bus campaign was bleeding fraud. Lies were spun that convinced people to vote.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it. It's the most famous. It's the most famous lie in history. Isn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And Andy makes stars. Brexit was a shit show. However, a lot of people got richer, and it wasn't the masses. Well, that's always the case, I'm afraid. Yeah.
How many small businesses died? I mean, Christ.
Yeah.
Can't keep up with the red tape and trying to get everybody.
Yeah, exactly. He says, my favorite desert scene, the sandstorm scene in Mad Max Fury Road.
That's a great scene. Yeah.
With regard to desert scene, Walkabout with Jenny Agutter. Yeah.
She's actually just done an interview, hasn't she, about Walkabout? It's on YouTube everywhere. She's talking about her time in Walkabout. I saw that I remember the teachers rolling out the TV and video recorder at school.
Of course. Yeah.
What was the kid's name?
Oh.
See, everybody remembers Jenny Agutter, right? Walking along.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I can see the kid now, and no bugger knows the name of him.
No. Yeah. It's one of them that probably didn't go on into any more acting. I don't know. It probably. Reminds me, I need to rewatch Constant Gardener. I've had the Steelbook on my shelf for years without opening it. Another one that don't bloody well watch the Steelbooks that have in a way. Get watching your Steelbook.
I remember my next door neighbour saying, I watched this film, Constant Gardener, right? And obviously it's a false title, isn't it? Because it makes you think of somebody in their back garden, pruning edges and things.
I know it's a spy.
But actually, it's like a war film.
Yeah. It's a Cold War spy thing, isn't it? I think. And James says, Rigsby is a great choice. Miss Jones. Yeah. I know. It's just sticks in my mind so much. Favorite cat in a sitcom, Mrs. Slocum's. You've been served. Oh no, the cat. Yeah, pussy.
Look, you can say it on here, Mrs. Slocum's pussy.
Yeah,
you can say it. You don't need to put, are you being served?
Yeah. How many?
I don't think we ever got to know what the cat's name was. You just referred it.
They had to have it in every show.
My pussy was so wet, I had to put it in front of the fireplace. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Ian and Del, what about Rab C. Nesbitt? As a
comedy sitcom hero? No,
I never.
Not for me, but I can understand it.
Yeah,
I think I appreciated Rab C. Nesbitt more in the Hamlet adverts.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, the one where he sits down in front of the camera that's going to take 4 photographs, and the seat drops down, and he's trying to get his hair combed across, and all of this, and every time the photograph gets taken at the wrong time, and then it's happiness is a mild cigar from Benson and Edges.
Yeah. Oh God, that is going back years, isn't it? Cigar adverts. They were the last.
You could get away with a cigar
smoking ones. Yeah. To be honest, I never fancied that Rab C. Nesbitt series. I saw little bits of it and didn't
it's
really.
One of those things where I have trouble watching a comedy where I don't understand half the things he's talking about because it's so thick an accent.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
that's not to say anything about Scotland. It's
Yeah.
just that it was such a thick accent. I couldn't understand. He was
Yeah.
talking so fast. That therefore is probably a really true characteristic. I just can't. I like my comedy where I can actually I'm
Yeah.
coherent to what's being said.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know what
think
I
that's
mean?
true. Yeah. Um. And
I mean, I have trouble enough with Bob from bloody the Likely Lads being Northerners,
oh
bastards.
dear, here we go. Here we go. You
What
can't. He
about?
can't help
Don't
it.
get me even started with Last of the Summer Wine.
Oh my! Here we go. Anyhow, Frank Alder says, "I love Ever Decreasing Circles. Got it on DVD and watch it lots. I hated Hyacinth Bucket. I would have divorced her on the spot. I'm sure a lot of people.
The
But
thing I didn't like about Ever Decreasing Circles, and I mentioned it before, it's just that Richard Bryars, that's who was in it, wasn't it? It
yeah,
was the next door neighbor that was a handsome bastard, and he kept being so jealous, kept thinking that his wife would have an affair with her, and he sort of like ruled over the other neighbors that were sort of like nerdy, husband and wife, that seemed to like doing things like pottery and things
they
like
always
that. You
did
know what
things
I mean?
together. Everything was together,
He
wasn't
seemed
it?
to
Yeah.
wanted to be head of the neighborhood watch scheme or
That's
something,
right.
you
It
know,
was. Yeah.
and yet the neighbor came in and he's got all the expensive cameras and all the
Yeah.
it was very much like a suburban jealous thing, almost like Terry and June was guilty of being in. It's all about mid suburbia,
Yeah.
and the BBC were guilty of doing too many of these comedies where
Yeah.
nobody lives like this. Nobody puts on a bowler hat and travels to London with
Well,
a time underneath their arm and an
yeah.
umbrella and all of that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, looking like Sir John Mills or something. Nobody does that. And yet every comedy seemed to portray somebody that was like that. Even Rigsby did Grot
Yeah.
in the life. It was the rise and fall of Reginald Perrin. You know, he
Yeah.
actually
It's that one.
went to
Yeah.
work in a pinstripe suit, walk into Sunshine Desserts,
Yeah.
didn't he? And then when he got his own shop, Grot,
Yeah.
which was a brilliant satire, I thought.
Yeah.
He was again suited up.
Mm.
Nobody went to work like that. I'm sure of it
Yeah.
in the 70s. My dad never went to General Foods factory in a bloody 3-piece suit. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I must admit, I didn't mind Ever Decreasing Circles. I think I enjoyed it as I
it was all
remember.
right. It's just that it wasn't my favorite. I think
I did
that
enjoy it. You know?
I think this was the BBC resting on their laurels and taking their foot off the pedal when it comes to things like It Ain't Half Optimum and all of that sort of stuff. You know, that's where they pushed the envelope out a little bit.
Oh, they did half with that. Yeah. Yeah.
It was almost like, let's do another suburban comedy. Let's do another, Just Good Friends is, again,
I didn't
Penny
like that one as
what was it?
much.
Penny and I've forgotten what his name was. But he was the handsome bastard.
I didn't watch it, to be honest.
You know, Penny was the for some unknown reason, she was like 35 and still living with her mum or something. And the house that they lived in looked like a bloody stately home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, do you want to live in our street, love? Bloody hell. You've got windows bigger than the size of our living room that goes from side, from side to side. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Oh. Right. Have you seen Rust and Bone, Tony? That's a great Marion Cotillard film. Ever Decreasing Circles is a good shout. Never heard
I'll
of
tell
it,
you what, it's a better comedy. It's a better comedy than Dennis Waterman's On the Up.
Oh, right.
You know, where he was that millionaire, he'd won millions or something, and lost his wife and that. What's that other one? 3 Up, 2 Down. That had the bloke from Boone who tried to do taxidermy. Tried to do taxidermy in that.
Was it? Oh, no. Who was the other one with Michael Elphick? Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Anyhow, I was thinking of Boone.
Yeah, I said the bloke from Boone who did 3 Up, 2 Down.
Yeah.
The only reason I watched 3 Up, 2 Down was I thought that the daughter, she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. She was in. I think she was in Coppola's Dracula, and then we don't hear nothing about her anymore.
Yeah, I don't like that film. Terrible film.
Yeah,
but
you don't
might disagree with me about that. It might be another.
You don't like 2001, so you
it's
can
another
get
2001. It's overrated. It's lost the point. Dracula.
Come on, I bigged you up with stop. I've talked about June and said how good it was. Don't start with this 2001.
Tony, what do you like? Are you being served again? Grace.
Grace and Favor. Yeah.
Grace and Favor. I don't remember it as much. That one.
That's where they moved out of the. That's where they moved out of the retail and went to live in a.
Is that the Stately Home one?
Well, that's You Rang My Lord with Heidi.
Oh, that's You Rang My Lord. Yeah. Grace and Favor. What was that one?
I know that they all got together and worked in another thing. You know.
Is it? I don't remember Grace and Favor. Yeah.
I do, just about.
Yeah.
Can't for the life of me think.
I remember that other one, the You Rang My Lord. Yeah.
That's Heidi High, isn't it? The You Rang My
Lord. Tony Hawk says, Charles, I don't remember much about it. Only seen it on TV when it was broadcast. Don't think it was as good as the original. Follow-up sequels.
Well, it only lasted once. I mean, the indicator is that I think it lasted one season. Maybe two.
Yeah.
where when you consider Are You Being Served ran for something like 9 or 10 bloody seasons.
Yeah, it's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, Molly Sugden went off to do That's My Boy and did that for about 4 or 5 years.
I wonder if they're talking about a film here because he says, Tony Hawk, they keep running it on That's TV channel.
No, that's right.
56 and 65.
Greenview's got these channels like Legend and Great TV.
Yeah.
And they're showing all these comedies.
Oh, are they? Oh, sorry. I don't watch Freeview. I don't know. I might have the app on TV because my TV it's just all apps. It's not linked with live broadcasting, so
yeah,
I don't know. I think he's put a thumb up on that one. Tony says most unusual watch. Oh God, I've got to pronounce this. Kaitaki Ono Rebellion about the exploitation of the native Sami people in northern Norway in the mid-19th century. Found it enjoyable. Now that is pretty obscure, I would imagine, but interesting.
I think that's Kautakina Rebellion, but
yeah, I don't know anything about that. History at all in northern Norway, I'll be honest. Enjoy your chips, Ian. I wish there were for me. They're my son.
You wouldn't believe it. I was eating the first thing I've eaten today.
Yeah,
5 minutes before we started the stream.
Yeah. Actually. Blooming price, don't get me going on about price of chips. And the word chips, anyhow, I don't think, but bloody heck, price of chips. Woo. Do you know of an old sci-fi program called Salvage One? I was looking for a complete DVD Blu-ray box set, but it doesn't seem to exist.
We'll never find it.
If he knows it, then
We'll never find it. I mentioned it the other day in my blog, and Steve was the only one who sort of like came back and remembered it. What it is, there was a guy who owns a scrapyard that says, I've got a brilliant idea. I bet you there's a load of scrap on the moon. If I can get up to the moon and claim it as my own, I could basically pocket loads and loads of money, right? So there he is with old sort of like deep sea divers stuff. try, and he hires somebody from NASA or something that's just got fired, trying to get to the moon so that he can salvage. I mean, it's the most terrible idea for a TV show. It starred the bloke who was in, I think he was in the British version of Steptoe and Son. No, because that's Sanford and Son. That was black actors. What was he in? He was in. Anyway, it's an oldish guy and famous actor, and it lasted, I think, one season. The music's in my head now. It was like 1979, 78, 79, before things like the A-Team took over and Buck Rogers and Battlestar Galactica and all of that. It was around about that time.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, how cheap could you make it? They all they had to do was hire a scrapyard. You know what I mean? Set things up with people with deep sea diving outfits on. You know what I mean? There was no rocket going up into space.
No.
You know what I mean? It was all about getting up there so that they could salvage the stuff.
Daft idea.
You'll never find a DVD or a Blu-ray box set of it. I mean, Christ, you can hardly find any clips of it. I remember as a kiddie watching a comedy that I loved the theme music to, right? The show was absolutely abysmal, but I remember it fondly, and that was Mr. Merlin, right? It was about Merlin now living in New York, right? And he has to find an apprentice and finds this teenager that visits because he's working in a garage now, Merlin. Yeah. Merlin's living in a garage, right? And he finds his apprentice because he pulls the what's it called? Pickaxe out of the concrete stone block that was outside. That was Excalibur. And no word of a lie, Merlin's magic kingdom, he used to knock on the the sill around the door. He used to hit it 3 times. He used to go like that, and suddenly a magic door with a stairway leading up, and there was this like heavenly white room, and there's an owl up there, and it's where he got all the spells from. And of course, the apprentice would go up there and learn a spell for the week, and it would be one that would backfire, like shut somebody up and all that stuff, right? And it was. I used to love it. I thought it was brilliant, but it was shit. Really, if you ever watch it, you go, what's this bollocks? But it's what America did. They had an opinion about what makes something British. How more British can you have than Arthur Pendragon and Merlin?
Yeah.
So, I know what we'll do. We'll Americanize it and put him in a garage, and Arthur is a teenage boy out of school trying to get laid, and we'll make him the apprentice for Merlin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I loved it when I was a kid. Brilliant. Maybe it's because I fancied the girl. Don't know.
Yeah, that often plays a part in these.
Probably things. What it is.
Yeah. Right. Let's have a look. Yeah. Movies. You scratched some obscure and interesting films this week, Tony.
What wiki pages have you been looking in?
Yeah, not film related, but I'm super excited. Booked our bucket list holiday to Vietnam and Cambodia today. Can't wait. Wow, they're interesting places to go to. Blooming heck. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm going to Bogner. Cheers.
Yeah.
Vietnam and Cambodia, please no. Some of us have to get a skeggy. You know what I mean? We got-
Yeah, I've just remembered. Now, if you're watching this and are new to the channel, please subscribe to Delboy. Unfortunately, this week we haven't got many in because we're well, there's a rival going on somewhere. But anyway, we won't go into that. But if you are new to this channel, please subscribe to Delboy, and I've put his link in the description. So go over.
Well, that's very nice of you. I will say this: slip of the tongue. There's no rivals, right?
Yeah.
But it's very nice, and all 6 of you that are watching at the moment,
Yeah, 6 of you. I know.
you probably all subscribe to me. So what a waste of breath that was.
But yeah, I still, I think, yeah. I always like to mention it anyhow. I always put it in the description. So
that's very nice
new,
of you, and he always does it at the weakest, lowest point.
It is good. It's a great channel.
He always does it at the weakest, lowest point of the bloody whole broadcast. Go and subscribe to Delboy.
He always says that every week.
You 3 people that have been here for 4 hours now.
Thanks very much. I've gone down to 5. Oh dear, we are on a low this week. I'm sorry, but hey, we don't care. We just carry on.
I put it in my blog that anybody can watch anytime. He only mentions it once, and it's always in a live show. He doesn't go, "Oh, I've watched this film this week, and by the way, Delboy saw it, and you ought to bloody watch it as well, right?" Because he did a little mini documentary on it. No. He has to wait until there's about 5 people here on a live show.
It's gone back up to 6. Yeah.
Well, I heard me ranting. He's raised his voice. Let's go and find out.
I'm sorry, it's the way life is, anyhow. But we just carry on, Anyhow,
we love what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not fly by nights. We're here all the time. Yeah. Sorry. As you mentioned, Vietnam, Jamie. That reminds me. I saw Lost Command, 1966, with Anthony Quinn. Oh, wow. Yeah, it begins at the end of the French Indochina War in what would become Vietnam, and then went on to Algeria during the fight for independence. Fantastic. Yeah, Anthony Quinn, I haven't heard him mentioned for quite a long time.
Yeah, he used to be everywhere, and then...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, I've seen this film. Only seen The Killing Fields once. That's a harrowing film set in Pol Pot era of Cambodia. Yeah, it is. It's a film that I've watched once, and that's an
80s, early 90s film, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. It is a very powerful film. It's based on a true story as well of the people who actually were there reporting it, and it is very harrowing. But a necessary film, maybe, like so many. The story that needs to be told. I've heard Killing Fields is very harrowing. I might try watching that before we go. Yeah, I think that gives you a good background to how things have changed from that.
Yeah.
It was I think they tried to turn the clock back to the year 0 with Pol Pot, and it was genocide, basically. Yeah. Ice Cold in Alex J. Mills, and the war film Sea of Sand with John Gregson. Great desert films. John Gregson, a great actor. Yeah. I like Anthony Quinn, so I'll put Lost Command on my watch list. All right.
Oh, bloody hell. Lost Command.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about that
Yeah.
one.
I had to check The Walkabout Boy. It was the cinematographer Nicholas Rogue's son. Oh, didn't do any acting.
So you were dead
afterwards.
on. He didn't do any more acting after that.
Yeah. Oh. Tony says, Charles, Sea of Sand is a good one, helped by Richard Attenborough, of course, being in it. Seems to get overlooked compared to Ice Cold. Oh. And Jamie says, wow, great cast in Lost Command, Tony. Anthony Quinn, Alain Delon, yep, and then Claudia Cardinelli. Oh, brilliant. And George Segal and Burt Walk. Hey, good old Burt Walk. You can't be a bit of Burt Walk. Yeah. And Flight of the Phoenix. Oh, yes, of course. He's a good desert film. Yeah. Flight of Phoenix. Excellent film.
Yeah.
Yes, Jamie. Unfortunately, Claudia is not in it for very long. Oh, dear. But anything's better than nothing. Yeah. She lights up a screen, does Claudia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and get another drink.
Yeah. And then we've got Tony
I get ever so dry talking and ranting.
Yeah.
I won't be a minute.
It's all right. Only seen Flight of the Phoenix on TV, but have the Eureka release waiting to be watched eventually. Hey, I bet that's a good release, actually. Flight of the Phoenix, great film. Absolutely wonderful. And then Charles Duncan. Funny, I've never seen Sea of Sand for years, Tony. I didn't remember Richard being in it. And then here we've got Jamie. Yeah, you're right here. Yeah. Wasn't Boo's sidekick played by Neil Morrissey? That's it. Yeah, Neil Morrissey.
Yeah, and while there was a strike going on for writing Boone, didn't Neil Morrissey and Boone do a film called Vampire Motorcycle or something?
Ah, yes, I've heard of that one as well. Yeah.
Terrible film.
Yeah,
sort of about a motorcycle. It's sort of like
notorious.
It's a motorcycle version of Christine in it, or something.
Yeah, it's notorious film that. Charles, I have the DVD quite a while since I saw it. I think there's Barry Foster and Percy Herbert in it too. Ah, brilliant. Tony, I have a home recording of Sea of Sand in the house. It would take me years to find it. All right. Charles, is it on VHS? No scratch. What I've seen, I've remembered. I've got it in a World War II box set, Tony. Okay, Charles. Thought it was quietish tonight. Didn't know there was anything else on. Yes. I thought that promoting lost viewers, you need to brush up on your promoting skills, Ian.
Yeah, nothing to notice this. Nothing to do with me. I wasn't even going to mention it. Nothing to it's not my channel.
I do listen to what people say, because Bob R mentioned that I'd put a picture up of Delboy and it was in standard definition. He said that last week, so I changed that, but no one will have noticed.
No, he said it looks like I've been smeared with Vaseline.
Yeah.
Is what he
So
said.
I squeezed him in and put that in. So now I was waiting for the next complaint about the thumbnail, but it's not. It's in high definition now. So
Bob Art said he was going to do one for us.
Yeah, well, I thought, he might be a long time. He's not here.
Yeah, true.
So far. But anyhow. His will be a million times better than mine, but I thought I'll just do that anyhow.
He will. Honestly, he's a great. I'll tell you what.
I know
his graphic design is second to none.
And then we've got Favorite Anthony Quinn film? Oh, I don't know.
Well, he's
God.
in Lawrence of Arabia. He's in Last Action Hero.
Is he?
Yeah.
Arnie film. Oh, I love that film.
Guns of Navarone.
Oh, right, yes. Oh, I've got to say that I love Guns of Navarone is just such a good film. I absolutely love it.
He's been in lots.
Yeah.
Trying to think. He's lots of war ones.
Yeah.
Is he in The Omen? No. No, he's not. Go on, you start mentioning some. Come on.
I can't mention any more than your ones that you mentioned. I'm going to cheat. Let's have a look and see what he's been in.
Oh, he's been in Lion in the Desert.
Oh, right.
I remember that.
Here we are, Anthony Quinn. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, it was Zorba the Greek.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
The Message. Oh, yeah, that's quite a controversial film, isn't it?
I don't remember that one.
Islam Muhammad business. Revenge, 1990, it says. It's Guns of Navarone, Lawrence of Arabia, A Walk in the Clouds. I don't know that one.
No.
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Lestrada.
Lestrada.
You're mentioning some now. I've never would have thought.
Del Rio. The Passage. Oh, Barabbas. I love Barabbas. That's the bloke who's on the side of the cross with Jesus and gets saved. The crowd choose Barabbas to be saved, and the film is about him, and it's really good. It's sort of a Roman period piece, really.
All right.
Warlock. I don't know that one. Who's in that? Ulysses. Last Train from Gun Hill. The Old Man and the Sea. There's just a few. The Greek Tycoon. Yeah, I've heard of that one. The Greek Tycoon. Onassis. Last Action Hero, like you mentioned. Avenging.
Yeah, I remember Lion in the Desert.
And that's also like with Stallone. Avenging Angel. Lust for Life. Oh, yes, Lust for Life. Lost Commando. I don't know that one. These are a few. They Died with Their Boots On. A Western. Yeah.
What a name for a title of a film.
Yeah, they always have those kind of titles. Attila. I presume that's about Attila the Hun.
Yeah.
A High Wind in Jamaica. Hercules in the Underworld. Hercules and the Amazon. Oh.
Hercules. Anthony Quinn in Hercules.
But this is that one, the one in the 90s. So
the TV series.
1994, Hercules and the Amazon. Remember, he made a series of these Hercules films, weren't there? And then there was Xena.
Yeah, that was a TV series, though. What are you talking about? Right. Films? Are you talking about films or a TV series?
Yeah, well, they put it on the air as what they did, they made some of those Hercules things into TV movies, didn't they? They'd put them in together and make episodes.
But what I'm talking about is, are we talking about Anthony Quinn was in the movie versions or was he in the TV episodes?
It must be that. Well, it's the illustration here is the TV, so I think it's the TV thing that they put in. Yeah,
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
not that these films were ever at the cinema,
yeah,
although they probably were. I'm just going by the fact that
Well, there's a war film I have heard of with John Wayne in. He was in 1945, Back to Bartan. I've
that
heard of
rings
that
a
one.
bell, but I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a war film. Anyhow, there's quite a lot there. Films that he was in. Yeah. So let's get on to Dick. He says, tell me what, I'll pick a relatively little known one. Shoes of the Fisherman, 1968. He plays the Pope. Oh, trying to prevent conflict during the height of the Cold War. Sounds good. Yeah.
Shoes of the Fisherman.
Yeah, Shoes of the Fisherman. Other than Lawrence of Arabia, I would go for Guns of Navarone. Yeah.
See, Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
yeah,
I knew that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Guns of Navarone, I mentioned a bit later on.
Yeah. Tony says David Dacre was Boone's mate from when they were firefighters. A good TV character actor. Also like Quinn in the Last Train from Gun Hill, which also stars Kirk Douglas. What an actor he was, Kirk Douglas.
Did a lot of westerns then, didn't
they? Also plays a good bad guy in that. A good western, Jamie Tony says. The photo of down the thumbnail looked the same to me. Yes, it probably did. But it's supposedly in high definition. But I don't know how they work. I don't know. I just bunged it on. I thought, well, there we are.
I look like I've been smeared in Vaseline.
I was waiting for he's not in. Perhaps he's not. See what he said about it.
No, he's probably on a different shift. He does say that he works long hours.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, to be fair to him, yeah. But I thought I'd just do it because I thought I'll try. And I'm not very good at these things.
I look like I'm a alien reject out of a Doctor Who episode.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing, is it? But Walk is in the Shoes of Fisherman as a fictional version of Chairman Mao. Oh, wow. Walk. Oh. I think Ian may have the DVD of Lion in the Desert. Yes, I may.
Yeah, if you bloody sent it, you bastard.
Yes, I have. I can see it up there.
Half his bloody collection comes from Tony. Jesus
I watched Eraserhead on Saturday.
Oh wow!
Been years for me. It's a fever dream of being a dad at time. The interpretation is spot on. Projectile
shitting and puking,
and puking. Early days. My lad's 17 now. Oh God, yeah, those days. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 17. Boy, it's getting on now. All right. And sometimes I feel like I don't take no notice of our comments. Ian's Lost Command. I've not heard of that one. Just mentioned it above. Oh, I don't know. And Quinn is good in Guns for San Sebastian, set in colonial Spanish North America, Mexico. Pretends to be a priest and goes up against Charles Bronson's bandit Indian chief.
It's almost like he had the sort of like the capital of things that have got guns in the title. Guns of Navarone, Guns for San Sebastian, Guns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Jamie, I noticed that, but I didn't like to mention it. All right. And they're laughing. Oh, right. Okay. I did have a British watch, Deadly Affair, Le Carrier spy drama from 1966 with James Mason. That sounds good. And that is the last comment. And
Yeah.
thank you
I
so
mean,
much,
I will
Tony.
say something. I've noticed that it's getting. I think anyway. I'm probably wrong in stating this. That a lot of the announcements these days are very, very hidden. You know, for physical media. Somebody actually pointed out to me that Pale Rider, Dirty Harry, all of these films were getting a 4K steelbook release, and I was going, "Where's the bloody advert for it?" I had to physically search for that in HMV's catalog to find the actual entry for you to pre-order it, right?
Yeah.
But we're talking a collector's edition of Dirty Harry. This
Yeah.
should have been all over everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
oh, there's going to be a 4K Dirty Harry steelbook collector's edition. Should have been up there like that, right? All you have to really, really search to actually find it.
Why do you think that is? Why?
I don't know. But it
Think
was
it's
almost like it
deliberate?
was brushed. It was almost like it was brushed under the carpet, like it was some sort of like dirty thing to talk about.
Do you think it was deliberate?
No. I just think it's it's weird how I'm looking at things at the moment. But it's like when Seven and all of these films like Blazing Saddles, everybody knew they were coming out. Oh yeah, I saw that little bloody that announcement not long ago, and I ordered it. You know, this I still don't see it being shouted from the rafters. Oh, you know, you can get Dirty Harry in a couple of months on 4K.
And
you know,
it's a film. Everybody goes, "Oh, Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood." Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was it's almost like an embarrassment, and it was an afterthought to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know the reason behind that. Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed. By the way, I really have enjoyed people's content the last couple of weeks. I tried to put as much of that in my blog as possible, but I really do. You know, when I mention these things, I only mention, you know, like what I watch. I will state that instantly. And you know, there's only so many minutes in a week that I can actually watch something. If I was to watch everything, I wouldn't be watching a film on telly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have enough time.
Yeah.
But I have enjoyed this week watching, you know, some David Lynch films, and you know, and the films people mentioning here, I'm going, bloody hell, I wish I knew as much about cinema as these guys do. Jesus Christ. You know, I'm having trouble trying to remember Arnold Schwarzenegger's surname or something at the moment, you know, let alone a film or whatever.
Don't you think YouTube is strange with its recommendations? That's where you pick up often what's on other channels, and you don't get always what you think you should get, you know. And I always think I watch a lot of, you know, film channels and stuff, but you don't always get that many recommendations. There must be lots more that I'm not watching.
It's funny how it works. The more I venture out into something new, the more bloody stuff comes up in my alerts tab saying, "Oh, you might want to consider this." And I'm going,
and it's stuff that you're
because I watched one review of a keyboard. I've suddenly got 15 videos for me to watch on different keyboards that are out there.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know you only have to watch one thing sometimes that's different, and they go mad. They think, "Oh, look, he's interested in that," even though you might not be that.
I looked up the title Muckman movies, and I tell you what, the amount of videos that I saw of fouling on people's streets, bloody hell. You know, dog shit everywhere, farms with pig shit. I only wanted to see a film. I only wanted to see a channel called Muckman Movies. What's all this shit business? What's all that about? That's how the logarithm works, though, in YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, we've got more comments now coming in again.
Well, I just thought I'd mention about that steelbook thing because
I think it's a good point. It is a good point. Charles Duncan, Ian, will not have Freeview. You're missing John Gregson in Gideon's Way series, 1960s. All right.
1960s, he was out getting pissed.
Great series, Charles. One of my favorite of the TC output. Good 60s locations shooting. Yeah, I like seeing old locations. Yeah. Charles Duncan, yes, I agree, Tony. Ian should have it. It's free. Yeah. There may well be an app on there, which I perhaps ought to have a look at. Yeah, at Freeview. Tony also saw several Kronos unboxings. Looked a fantastic set. Great quality. Certainly not overpriced at £50, in my opinion. I saw an interview with the new owner of Hammer. They're planning lots of releases. Oh, I'm looking forward to when I've got some money.
I purposely only watched one unboxing, and that was Mondo Celovic.
Yeah.
I did my own in the blog, just showing the box.
Yeah.
And I said, look how this box comes. How well presented it is.
Yeah.
It's even got Hammer around the cardboard box with your name written on the box, right? And when you open it up, it's got quotes from the film.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Mine arrived on Saturday, and I think Mondo's arrived on Saturday as well.
Yeah. I'm hoping
we both turned around and said we think it's one of the best box sets.
Yeah.
As a what you get and how it's presented in the last couple of years. It beats the Hitcher. And
I'm looking forward to getting some. I should be able to get some probably in about June, and then when I've got some money coming. So I'm looking forward to getting them. I want them to release one at Dracula's or Frankenstein's, definitely. I'd love a really good box set of them. Any of them. I'd love them all, apart from
if they're going to be all 50 quid.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do more than 3 a year, because I won't be able to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah.
With all the Doctor Who's and all.
Yeah. There's one next month.
I will then have to choose, and then I will find I've missed my opportunity to buy it, because the one I chose to have was the one that they did the biggest print run on, and the one that I decided I might pick up later on.
Yeah,
they did a short run of it, and that means you have to go to the scalpers to get it.
Oh, that's what I'm worried about. That they'll release, say, one of my all-time favorite Hammer films, and I won't be able to get it because I'm just waiting. Oh dear. We'll see what happens. So in a way, I don't mind releasing Captain Kronos first, because it's not one I would have gone to straight away anyhow.
No.
So we'll just have to see. But I don't know what they're going to release next. I think they may well go for a popular Frankenstein or Dracula one, but which one I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it looked good. It looked really good. Might need to change my name. Oh.
No, it's because I said when I search for Muckman, I find lots of videos on shit and fouling on streets.
Oh, I get you. Oh dear.
I was only joking, but
poor Jamie.
That is how the YouTube algorithm works.
So it is actually, you can do that. It's sometimes I think I was looking for Muckman movies and I couldn't find it. It was coming up with loads and loads of other crap. Yeah.
And like I said, if you look for Delboy, it'll be full of videos of Only Fools and Horses. You won't find it is difficult how the algorithm works.
But... Yeah. I don't understand it. Continue. By the sound of it, not just gothic horror, but historicals. Some of their 50s noir and others. Do you think they're going to do that? Oh, wow.
I didn't know that.
Would be interesting.
I thought it was their horrors that they were.
Yeah, I thought it was the horrors, but you never know. I mean, if they do some of the other stuff. It would be interesting. But I'd have thought the selling point would be gothic horror. I'd have thought it would be the big selling point. And it's certainly Dracula and Frankenstein's with Cushion and Christopher Lee. I may have been tempted, but I do have a foreign Blu-ray of Kronos. Yeah, I understand that totally. Yeah. March 3rd for Doctor Who season 7 on Amazon. Yeah, I can't wait.
Well, Inferno's in there, isn't there, and all that. So
yeah, fantastic. That's my one treat. I always get a special box. Anyone seen Bellman and True starring Bernard Hill? I've not. No, I know Bernard Hill is what a actor
was
he
his
was.
name Bernard? Bernard.
Yeah.
That's how they pronounced his name, I think.
Is it? Was it? Oh, right. But
I call him Bernard, but it's just I think when I've heard when he's been on Parkinson or something like that, I think his name is Bernard.
Yeah. I'm sure he passed away last year, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did, yeah. He says, worth a purchase. And then I have the indicator of Belmont Jamie. Good Jaguar car chase trying to squeeze through that narrow gap.
Every time you hear about car chases, they always talk about Bullet, don't they?
Yeah.
You notice that? It's like one of the biggest, best car chase scenes ever seen in the world or something.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
They mention Bullet all the time. Bullet.
But there's lots of others.
About the Italian Job and all of that sort of stuff. I mean,
yeah. It's in HMVs 2 for £15. I wonder if that's still going, actually. I'm sure I looked the other day. It might be. I don't know. The HMV sales have been a bit funny.
Oh.
Yeah. There was an interview somewhere I saw online with the new owner of Hammer. He's called Gore. What?
You couldn't write it up, really, could you?
He said he sounded very enthusiastic about future releases. He said they wouldn't all be the same size as Kronos, depending on available extras. Of course, that's true. You know,
you see, you got to remember that Hammer Horror.
Yeah,
they had a sort of a magazine called Hammer House of Horror magazine. It was a black and white, and they used to do one-off graphic adaptions of their films.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't look at their back catalogue of film adaptations and then do those in the big box office sets, because not all of them will have had a film adaptation.
Yeah.
And they'll do those ones, and of course the iconic ones from Dracula and you know.
I think the thing is, there is a few extras around on those Studio Canal releases. You normally have a good documentary, and I'm sure they will use some of those, because obviously they're recording new documentaries and they're going to take quite a bit doing and the cost on that. But so I think they have got quite a few available extras if they do, you know. But I know these documentaries must take quite a bit putting together, because sadly a lot of the people are no longer.
No, you only have to watch a documentary on those Doctor Who box sets to know that just how difficult it is to get the documentaries done, because that's what holds back the releases, that they have to try and get all these people together and talk about.
It's difficult,
You know, you try getting Sylvester McCoy and say, "Can you do a behind the sofa and this box set?" And he'll be going, "Well, sometime next year."
Yeah.
I'm at a convention this week, next week after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I know they're busy on their circuit of conventions. French Connection has a great car chase that weaved through real traffic. French Connection, great
Yeah,
film.
there's some fantastic. I was just letting you know that Hollywood. It seemed every time somebody said, "Name a great car chase," for some unknown reason everybody would mention Bullet, and I just didn't understand why. Right?
Yeah.
Because I could name like the Italian job and all sorts of other chase scenes.
Yeah,
But
this
Bullet
is
always
he
gets
just
mentioned.
mentioned one here, which is in Robbery. There is a fantastic car chase right at the beginning of the film. It's a great film, Robbery. Very much underrated, I think. Stanley Baker, fantastic in that. Yeah. Not seen that one. Ronin has a great car chase. That's De Niro, isn't it?
Yeah.
One. P.T. Yates directed for a Robbery first, then a year later, Bullet. Well, there's the connection.
No, there's the connection. Yeah.
Right. What about the car chase in Robbery starring Stanley Baker? There it is, Del, 1967.
Yeah, it wasn't to point out how much do I know about car chases. It was all I was getting at is that if you've ever read an article in Empire magazine or something, and somebody would mention about car chases, then you could not get past the fact that Bullet would be mentioned.
They always mentioned it. No, it's true. Yeah. And Tony says, Ronin chase went on what seemed like ages. Remarkable. Oh, right. I've not seen Ronin, though. I must admit. I know it's Robert De Niro.
Good film. Well, it's no gayish film.
Yeah.
Could have been better with when you consider the stars that are in that film.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's the last of the comments. We're there.
I think we did well. 3 hours.
Yeah, I think we have done well. Yeah. There's another one coming here. Tony said, I think it's the Steve McQueen connection with Bullet that gets it the attention. You're probably right. Yeah. Steve McQueen. Yeah, definitely. So thank you everyone who's commented and sat here watching, all 9 of you. Thank you very much. Brilliant and fantastic. And we'll be here again as we are every week. Always will be here. So don't worry. We're not fly-by-nights. Oh, wait, we've got some more questions here. Favorite Star Trek film, favorite James Bond film. I think we've asked this before, but I know what Del's answer is. It's the same as mine. But yeah.
Star Trek the motion picture.
But I don't know about his James Bond. But anyhow, so
probably the Spy Who Loved Me because I like the Lotus.
Yeah, mine is. I've said it before. Again, the first Star Trek film is just out of this world. It's brilliant, fantastic. And James Bond film.
Have you actually got round to watching my edition?
James Bond film. I choose the first one I ever saw, and I think it's fantastic. Donald Pleasance. If you only live twice, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And so let's see. We've got here. Jamie, good night, you muddy flippers. Well, thank you very much. And Tony says, good night, all. Charles Duncan says, bye, guys. Bye. And Tony Hawks, Nemesis, live and let die. Oh, right. Star Trek Nemesis. Fans of that. Anyhow, that's it.
Hang on. I asked you a question. Have you got round to watching Star Trek the motion picture? I've sent you yet.
I know I haven't got round to watching that
Bloody hell.
But you want me to watch this 23 minutes extra, I think you said.
No, I'm just intrigued to know what you think of it in 4K as a director's edition.
Yeah, I know. I'd like. It's the director's cut, is it, of it? So yeah, I will get round to watching it eventually. Yes. There's something else. Yeah. Live and Let Die is good. Boat Chase is brilliant. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, right?
The Boat Chase. Yeah.
Bond always kept trying to beat itself in regards to stunts.
Yeah.
So as we kept going, it didn't matter that the actor was getting older and older and older.
No.
It was more the spectacular stunt.
Yeah.
And it then became the film that's known for its stunts than it was more about British secret agent and
Yeah.
all of that sort of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, you mentioned You Only Live Twice. I think that's the follow-up to Doctor No, isn't it? It's the second film, isn't it?
No.
It's
It's Doctor No. And what's the second one? The third one is Thunderball, and then I think we get Goldfinger. I'm trying. Oh, From Russia with Love is the second one in Connery films. And say, I suppose for me, I always pick You Only Live Twice because it was the first Bond film that I saw at cinema, and it just blew me away. I just thought, fantastic. This is what I loved about Bond, and I always feel that Bond has strayed away from that sort of feel, in modern Bond. I don't really get on with modern Bond at all. But yeah, that's my take on it. Yeah.
yeah.
I
mean, I love all the Bond films, really.
Yeah,
in
some
ways.
do. Yeah, I do. Apart from, I don't get on with Daniel Craig much at all. I know everybody will say Casino Royale is the best of his films.
Well,
but even that,
you could even turn around and say Never Say Never Again is a step too far for Sean Connery.
Yeah, and I'm a big Sean Connery fan, actually, and I've not seen Never thing because I don't feel it's proper Bond, even though it's a remake, supposedly, isn't it, of Thunderball?
It's interesting because it starts off with Bond in a training program because they believe he's getting too old, that he shouldn't have the 00 number anymore because he's a lot slower in the field.
Yeah.
And there was Sean Connery going, well, I've got to do this Bond not because Roger Moore's stealing my thunder or anything. It's more to do with a kick in the eye for the producers of Bond, wasn't it? It was he never got on with the producers of Bond, and he wasn't he contracted to do one more film.
It was.
He went, well, I get this off of, even though it's like 15 years later or something.
That's right. It was quite a bit later. Yeah.
It was almost like a revenge trip.
It was. I think that's true. I think that's very true. It was. Yeah.
And he just thought, I don't give a shit whether he gets panned or not.
Yeah. Jamie says Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams, and Live and Let Die.
The trouble I have with the J.J. Abrams Star Trek is it's almost like, again, it's all smeared with bloody Vaseline. It's a light show. Christ, that I couldn't work on that Starship Enterprise bridge because I tell you what, every time I tried to look at my control panel and where I was working, I'd get glare. I'd have to have sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Bloody awful. It's all lens flare everywhere in that film.
It's okay, but it's not the original series.
No, it's not. It wasn't made for me.
But
it was nice to have an alternate dimension version of Star Trek.
As actors, they do a good job. I think they do a good job, actually, as actors in that, but the magic is always with the original cast for me. But there we are. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here, just going back to Bond, the fat sheriff, in Live and Let Die. He becomes.
Well, there's the famous stunt, isn't there, with the bike that flips in the air over the bridge, isn't it?
Yeah. And music, totally agree. Delboy was stunts with Roger Moore. Yeah.
Well, you know full well he weren't skiing down that bloody hill. I'll tell you that. And there's no way that he jumped off and he had a Union Jack bloody parachute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely no bloody way.
Jamie says no, really, Wrath of Khan or Voyage Home. They're both excellent films.
I'd go with
I
Wrath
can't
of Khan
argue
over
with that.
Voyage Home
Yeah.
any day.
Yeah, but I always think that first film just is so good, outstanding. And then Andy makes Star Wars From Russia with Love is the best top three. Oh,
Was it Matt Monro that sang From Russia with Love?
yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it is Matt Monro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's Tom Jones who did Thunderball,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I prefer of the early ones Doctor No, because Doctor No has got the villain's base and it's under the water, isn't it? And I like all that. Whereas the second one, From Russia with Love, is more, I suppose, realistic.
Well, I don't think the first film Doctor No has a theme tune other than the James Bond theme itself.
Yeah, you may well be right. Oh, and it's got Ultra Andress in it, so it's even better. But
with the famous bikini in it, yeah.
Yeah. From Russia with Love is good, but it's more grounded, I suppose. It's not quite got the same villain taking over the world. It's a Cold War one more. I mean, it's good. It's Sean Connery, and he's very good. Yeah.
I mean, the surprise for me was Live and Let Die's theme song, really. When you consider you've got Matt Monro and Tom Jones and Shirley Bassey, to then have Wings do Live and knock it out the ballpark. Because I tell you what, the best thing about that film is that title sequence.
No, I think the film is good. I think it's a good introduction for Roger Moore, and it's darker, and he's not as jokey in it. He's more on. He has got the humor there, but it's more controlled than his very later films, where it's almost.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. That picture's going to give me bloody nightmares. That Stephen Moles.
What is that picture?
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
It says, what a picture for me to go to bed on.
In a Delboy. Have you seen a film called Penthouse North, starring Michael Keaton? It's a great thriller. Oh, Michael Keaton's a good actor.
The only Michael Keaton that sounds anything like that is Pacific Heights.
I've got that. That's brilliant.
Penthouse North sounds like another one where he owns a penthouse and something happens. But I might be wrong, but I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, that picture, Stephen, it looks like a very thin version of Ian.
Yeah. Oh dear. What can I say?
Is that what you look like when you take your teeth out?
Yeah. Gotta admit, I love the Daniel Craig Casino Royale. The Parkour chase.
Chasing is insane.
I suppose
I think Casino Royale's got Eva Green in it, and I think she was a good Bond lady.
Yeah.
And she dies.
Yeah. Which has to be a plus, because
he dies underwater, I think, in a lift scene.
Yeah. I think it's Daniel Craig. I don't get on with him as much, but
I agree with you. Only I think he started well and ended bad.
Yeah, because which one? There's one that's really boring actually in it. Which is it? Spectre. That's it. I don't like that one.
It should have been more exciting when you consider. When you consider out of 20 or 30 Bond films, Blofeld and Spectre.
Yeah, and we've got a film named after them.
You'd think the introduction and the history behind Spectre would make that a fantastic film.
It should have been.
But it ended up with him going into a big stately home and everybody sitting around a bloody desk with all of the sort of like Don villains in the aisles around the top.
Yeah.
And him trying to escape from there, which was probably the most exciting scene. Otherwise, it was a right snooze fest.
It was. It was a disappointment. It had to be, because
I mean, Christ, you've got, even in earlier Bond films, Moonfell, in a wheelchair being picked up by a helicopter and chucked into a chimney stack is more exciting than the whole of that film. You know what I mean?
It was a letdown. It really was. And then Andy makes Star Wars. I don't like Daniel Craig films. His best fun version was in Quantum. Bronson felt like a mix with nothing else of Moore and Sean. Interesting.
Yeah, Brosnan is a mix of Moore and Sean.
Yeah, I don't mind Brosnan.
The best Daniel Craig is Quantum of Solace. I think Casino beats Quantum of Solace.
Yeah.
The reason for that is it was his first outing as a 00. I thought that was interesting. And it started off in black and white. Very interesting choices.
Yeah. I just don't get on. I just don't get on with him at all. Matt Monroe, that's that voice, singing voice on that. Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang should have been Thunderball's song.
Yeah, they called Tom Jones in at the last minute, didn't they?
Yeah.
That song makes no sense. That whole song makes no sense. Then again, I don't think many early Tom Jones songs make sense.
No. Quantum of Solace is the worst Craig Bond film, in my opinion. It's an incoherent mess.
Like I said, I don't get on with Quantum of Solace much. But...
Yeah. And the last comment here is the image of the guy just looks like the robot at the end of Star Trek original series end credits.
Do you mean the puppet that's got that Vaseline sort of like face, and it ends up, you know?
Yeah, I know.
One of the season 1 episodes with that great big ball with loads of other ping pong balls stuck to it. It's where he comes up with that poker game, wasn't it? Where he's got Corbinite. That's it. It's the Corbinite maneuver, isn't it? That's right.
Okay. We've got another one. He says yes.
Yeah. It's the Corbinite maneuver. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Tony says. He's a. I think it was the Tholian, the old guy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ian with his teeth out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyway, we got to do the goodbyes and time shit.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us and making this brilliant, as always. 12 of you. We've gone up. Thank you. 13. Thank you, 13 of this for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a great time. And we'll be back again next week. And so I'll just let Delboy do his farewell.
Oh, well, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Good night. No, but we always do the end of it. And I'll go, salute. Thank you so much to everybody out there. You always make my Wednesday. Thank you.
And all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again. Got two more. Where's the raffle? And another good film to check out. Carjacking, starring Stephen Dorff. That face. Oh, sorry.
There's another face. You ain't stopped yet, you know, by the way.
Right. That's it. I'm going. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I just had to do that. That face.
Bloody hell.